time, 58.9. He's a tenth of a second up on Tim Slade. Have they got the PR Tech car working at the exact moment that the shade comes across the circuit? Clouds covering is exactly what the doctor ordered. He crosses over for a 1:21.9, and this is getting exciting. Second quickest time of the day. He misses it by less than a tenth, and instantly the sun comes back out. That was incredible timing from that cloud cover. Makes a huge difference when you take the UV off the circuit like that. Where did that come from? In the midday sun, the Porsche comes in for a second lap, and that is impressive. Is there much of a difference with the cloud cover? Do you notice that as a driver?
Yeah, it's huge, mate. As soon as the direct sun gets off the racetrack, you generally find the temperature will drop by sort of between 3 and 5 degrees immediately. And over the course of a lap, that makes a huge difference to tyre grip.
Thank you, mate. How perfectly timed was that cloud cover for the PR Tech Porsche? There's 4 minutes to go, so there's still plenty of time here for Tim Slade.
Whoa. I love this. This is the time. I mean, you've got to really edit the whole day to get to these tense moments, and it's good to see Timmy Slade in the car. Now, whether or not, I mean, that thing's running. It's running. He's strapped in. He's ready to go. Whether or not he did that as a gesture to see what the Porsche do. No, are they going to roll it out? They are going to roll it out. I thought, you know what, it was there in case the Porsche took it.
Not sure if George down there was close to those tyres to know exactly what kind of condition they were in. Were they sticker tyres, or were they sending him out on old rubber? He did go out earlier on old rubber.
You know what we haven't seen? We just haven't had the camera in the right spot when we're actually pulling some of these things off. Like, I want to see what under Suzuki's rears look like after that last session as well. I think they're...
after doing two laps, I'd say pretty haggard as the sun comes out. So how does Tim Slade play this? Is it worth putting a lap in the sunshine? Or will he get lucky and the cloud cover will come back over before he starts the lap?
It makes a big difference. You wouldn't believe it does, but...
This will be a very slow out lap. So green tyres we're hearing right now. Thank you, George, down in the lane. Is he better to wait for the cloud cover here?
Well, it looks like we've got a little bit at various parts of the track there. But again, 4 minutes left in the session. You'd want your crew to be able to keep an eye out on what the start-finish line officials got. It's like, dude, when are you going to wave that flag? Can you hold off another 2.5 minutes until we can get past you? And on an indicative time. Now, look, he's getting everything warmed up there. Geez, it's been an absolute pleasure for Timmy Slade to drive this, I think. You know, when he's used to punting, something that's 1,200 kilograms around and 650-odd horsepower to something that's, you know, touching 1,000 kilos and touching 1,000 horsepower and more front turn-in than I think you probably ever experienced in any car. And that's what SVG said about driving this car many years ago. Just cannot believe how much turn-in this car gives you through turn one, through Armando.
This car has been on the podium for the last 5 years at World Time Attack. Firstly, it was driven by a couple of Kiwis, Earl Bamber, two-time Le Mans 24-hour winner, Shane Van Gisbergen, reigning Virgin Australia Supercars champion, and handed over to Tim Slade last year, who delivered Murray Coote their first World Championship. Let's see how this wild S13 Silvia goes with the sunshine blaring down on Sydney Motorsport Park. Flat through turn one, the Armando corner, and that is putting a lot of stress on that right front tyre.
That's the first time I've seen it work that tyre that hard there, Chad. Normally when the cameraman holds that angle long enough, you get a real indication of him coming past. It's done the job so far. Let's have a look at that first sector as he gets this one through. Tim Slade, 23.717, and that when it comes up like that, Chad, we're on a hottie.
Well, that's 2/10 quicker than his best so far today. So Tim Slade currently looking like improving the marker again. When you look at the history of how this class has evolved, our pro class, we started with 130s, we've ended up in the 122s, now to the 121s. That's an average of 1.3 seconds a year improvement as he goes all the way to the exit at turn 7. That's about as much of the track as you want to take out there. So when you looked at those improvements over all those years, it would suggest that we're heading for a 1:20 this year. Now, Tim Slade did lose just a little bit of time through there, 59.0, but that is almost identical to what he laid down earlier. As the MCA suspension team watches on, including Murray Coote left of frame, this looks like being his third 1:21 of the day. Let's see how quick it is to the stripe. 1:21.9. No, it's a 22, so he lost
1-3,
lost
yeah.
a couple of tenths in the last sector. It's still a very fast lap time. A 1:22.13, to put that into perspective, would be 600ths quicker than last year's winning time, but it's still not quite enough where they want it. It is tight at the top, but Tim Slade doesn't improve, but it's still a very good number, 1:21.8. With 1 minute left in the session, that'll be the last flying lap we see. So, exciting stuff so far. Emma, it's advantage MCA Hammerhead at the moment.
It is indeed, but just spoke to Sammy yet again about Barton's impressive lap time. Of course, he's sitting in second at the moment. And Sammy's pretty impressed. They got that done in the middle of the day. Of course, it is very, very hot out here. He said they're getting very, very close. They just need more time. So they'll go back, they'll review everything, mainly the aero, but all smiles in Garage 29 at the moment.
Thank you, Em. That's Sam Diacinos that she's talking about there, ex-Caterham, ex-Toyota, ex-Williams F1 engineer, and he's worked on the aero departments of all three of those teams. And they have turned another quick lap time, and they've really put the pressure back on the MCA Hammerhead. The Garmin leaderboard now looks a lot closer. It's a 1:21.89 for Tim Slade and the MCA Suspension Hammerhead. Look how tight it is, less than a tenth of a second. Barton more, and with that cloud cover, it was just the advantage he needed. Tomohiko, aka Under Suzuki, still sitting in the top three, a 1:22.5, and then there's daylight back to Andy Forrest and the rest of the gang. Huge battle on right now for those guys who could potentially be competing for #1 European team, fighting here this weekend with the Finnish lads. And Brad Shields, that's the best time we've seen from the Insight Motorsport entry, nearly cracking the 20s as well. Haven't seen Firando back on track since he had that issue earlier. And the Pulse Racing car also got its first lap in there as well with that 1:31. So hopefully we get to see Firando back out there. And this sets up the last session today beautifully. You don't know what tomorrow holds when it comes to things like weather, so you really want to throw tyres at this last session. The winning World Time Attack's time could come in that last session later today.
And you know what? That's right. Got to break it back with more here at World Time Attack.
PS4 for the players.
South Wales. Kennards Hire Rally Australia. Let everyone know that it's Supercars Coates Hire Newcastle 500. Liqua Molly Bathurst 12 Hour. And Southern 80. To find out more, go to visitnsw.com.
Don't miss a second of the action. Every corner, every shift, every heartbreak. See your motorsport as it should be, live and free. Download your Motorsport TV experience now.
It's on in New South Wales. Kennards Hire Rally Australia. Let everyone know that it's Supercars Coates Hire Newcastle 500. Liqua Molly Bathurst 12 Hour. And Southern 80. To find out more, go to visitnsw.com. Don't miss a second of the action. Every corner, every shift, every heartbreak. See your motorsport as it should be, live and free. Download your Motorsport TV experience now.
Now, there are two words that the opponents of this RP968 use more often than anything to describe it, and that is scary and potential. And we're starting to have some fun here, mate, but that was an awesome lap, and obviously in the heat of the day, very, very impressive. You're really putting the heat on now.
Yeah, we are. We're making a competition of it, aren't we? I must admit, I was a bit surprised when I looked at the dash and saw the 21. I thought maybe we'd get a 22 out of it would be good, and we just got the car in the sweet spot now. We've been a bit behind schedule, really, with a few things getting to the event. You might see shortly below me is a whole new front aero kit on this car. And basically, we're just tuning that in, getting the balance. And to be honest, that's the most comfortable I've been in the car. And as you know, as a driver, once you're comfortable, you can really commit to these corners. We're flat through one. We're starting to get flat through some of the other corners. So we're in the ballpark. Well,
that's, as you say, if you're only just starting to get comfortable now, if I was one of the other teams, that'd be sounding pretty ominous to me. We were talking about the titanium skid blocks. This thing's throwing sparks 10 metres into the air. I mean, it's putting so much load through those blocks, it's even stretching the metal out. I mean, that blows my mind. So I'm really excited to see what you guys have got to show us. As I said, the biggest thing about this car, the potential is unreal. So congratulations, mate. Well done. Looking forward to seeing you for the rest of the weekend.
Thanks, mate.
Wow, how about that? Bart and Moore, they're going into the 21s. Woo! Now we've got a bit of drift demo. It's Mozer here with the great Wazzer. What have we got here, Woz?
Mozen was on the air. Jake Jones, the drift squid, 1,000 horsepower of RB Nissan motor underneath the bonnet of that M3 BMW, and that thing is a weapon. Jake Jones claiming he can hit 230 kilometres down the main straight there, Moz.
That RB stands for really bad, I think. Bad in a good way.
We talked to Jake this morning. He said that car scares him. The interesting thing was he is yet to chase anyone behind the wheel of that car. Adam Monk, Team Tyre Barbecue out of Western Australia.
Yeah, running the new ship this weekend, and all the way drove across himself, I believe, too. And that car, twin turbos up through the bonnet, if you like.
Levi Clark, Mr. Style and Aggression, the Exeter Drift team. He is out on track showing the black and gold colours again. Good to see Levi Clark back. And Moz, he's one to keep an eye on. He won FD here 2 years ago. Super consistent last night in his line and angle coming through the practice session. I love the way it squats in the back end. It's like a baby's nappy that's full. Hey, here's a bit of Kiwi technology. Carl Thompson, quad rotor Lexus, 1,280 horsepower engine built by Curran Brothers. In behind him, Bo the Show Yates, Toyota Genuine Parts sponsored entry. Bo Yates is one to keep an eye on tonight too, Moz. Yeah, indeed. Bo Yates last night, we were calling him clinical on his moves. He was in the same spot, same gear, same line every time, and he even had a few problems. He was worried about something last night. He was worried, diff ratio or something like that. He was going to look at changing, but to me it looked perfect. That, on screen, that is Shane Van Gisbergen, the MCA sponsored entry, and Cole Armstrong, the current New Zealand Drift champion, the Evergreen Tyres sponsored entry. Cole and Shane are actually very good mates. Moz, not sure if you're aware of that, but I think they're going to put on a bit of a show. We're going to see the first linked battle down the section there as Jake Jones comes the straight again, led by the one and only Mad Mike Witter in the Bad Bull, 800 horsepower of quad. Sorry, that's a triple rotor turbo RS8. So many rotors here this weekend. A lot of rotors, a lot of good noise coming out of them. Now, you said Curran Brothers from Thompson. He told me last night the engine was built in Australia by someone else. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe there's been a change there as we see the Tyre Barbecue entry. The Newlon sponsored Adam Monk coming through the section. Moz, the dirt turbo! There it is for the first time this weekend. Now, and he's blown the tyre off too, has he? Yes, debeated that rear tyre there. Taking a bit of guard with it too off his body kit. So Team Barbecue Newlon driver number one, the Monkster there with some dramas, but he'll roll that back to the pits. Adam Monk was off the track and not lifting, right? That was him last year. There was in front of the crowd. Raised eyebrows there, I believe. Over that one, but it impressed the king, the Drift King. Yeah, I can tell you, Moz, after sitting through the briefing that we had just before, if you hang around tonight for 6:30 for practice and then for qualifying, you will see a very different style out of the DK in his judging tonight. He is very technical. He has been very prescriptive about what he wants, and he has laid the law down. He feels like this is a good field. He's expecting a lot tonight, Moz, as we see Jake Jones about to line up as, Mad Mike appears on screen in the Red Bull Mad Mike Motorsport entry there, also backed by Mazda. And Rotiform, I noticed. Yeah, Rotiform custom wheels there. It's not Mick Rosenblatt on the screen. Mick Rosenblatt is our current champion. Mick Rosenblatt, the Newlon Oils sponsored machine.
450 odd horse miles, but with a shot of the gas in there, Rosenblatt is definitely one to keep an eye on tonight.
I think he's got a bit more than 400. I think he might have been pulling your leg there. Now,
Queenslanders don't lie, do they, Moss? There he is, the Botcher.
Now, this guy's on fire at the moment as well. That's Josh Botcher in the big... it's a late model Speedway engine in that machine, a big Angry V8, 7.2 litres, if you like, no gas needed, injected throttle body machine. Of course, one to watch in the Honeywell Garrett International Drift Challenge coming up tonight. Wow, I can't wait. Shane Van Gisbergen getting the feel for this 370Z. Pretty wild machine, pretty heavy donking.
Actually, the ex-Chris Forsberg engine underneath the bonnet. So Chris Forsberg's VK56 underneath the bonnet of the MCA suspension entry, and we know, Moz, the Coots know how to put a car together. We've already seen young Mr. Slade firing around here fairly rapidly, as Shane Van Gisbergen certainly knows his way around the right pedal.
Just a little bit high in the car. It's not that comfortable there. So might be still set up for Josh. He's a little bit, closer to the earth.
Yeah, I did. Look, I wrote a bit of a preview on the World Time Attack site, and to be fair to Shane, he did ask me to... I did mention that Shane had tested in this car. Now, Shane tested in the initial setup of the car, but he hasn't actually driven the car in its current configuration. So just in fairness to Shane, I do want to make that apparent to people. So this is basically his second or third lap ever in the car. So he hasn't battled in it. He has no idea what it's really going to do, but Mozzie, Shane Van Gisbergen.
Exactly. Hit the nail right on the head there. He's one talented kid, and I tell you what, with that drive at Bathurst, apart from a couple of mark-ups, it was his in the bag too. Once again, he's had a couple of close runs with it. But the MCA team, Josh Coote, doesn't sleep anymore. He just builds cars.
Well, how many it was a VR 38.
He's clinical, like you say, as Carl Thompson makes his way back into the pit here in that wild four-rotor, 1,400 horsepower of turboed four-rotor NOS. You
need to head down there and just basically have a look at those drift machines as Shane Van Gisbergen goes up through the final turn of the section there. So that'll be where the section effectively ends there, Moz. And that's where we saw it won and lost a lot last year. Guys getting lost in the smoke. Actually going off the track was the big thing that cost people battles last year. The guy who will remember that, Moz, Robbie White.
Yes, Ricky Bobby, of course. He's back, though, after having clutch dramas last night. They've slipped a new clutch into the car. This is 8th clutch in 7 meetings or something. And Robbie White, in the Rob White Motorsport Monster Energy back machine. He'll be one to keep your eye on.
Don't forget about the other guy who has the Monster Energy sticker on his car. What's his name again? Daigo. That's it. Daigo Saito.
We haven't seen him out yet.
We haven't seen him out yet. They were having some issues with the car this morning, and they were looking to warm it up, and they were looking to head out on track, but didn't fire it out there. Look at the size of that huffer, Moss.
98 millimetres on the inlet.
That's the size of your head.
You could feed a baby cat into it, no worries at all. Maybe
you could have it. Here we go. We're having a little walk down the pit road there. That's the Drew Donovan machine, Harcon suspension backed entry. That was Jody Verholst's car, his much better looking other half. But Drew has the drive this weekend. There is Jody on screen.
I like this thing. They're 35 with the RB in it.
You need to go for a ride in it, Moss. Darren Kelly took me for a ride in it, and that thing just pulls gears, and it pulls and pulls and pulls like a schoolboy. It is amazing.
What made him do that? Did he buy the car complete, or?
No. It was a stolen, recovered car, and then they chose to remove the VR engine out of it and fitted the RB 3.4 litre with a Nitto stroker crank in it.
That's what's in it.
That's what's in it now. 3.4 litre. There is Mad Mike's engine bay, the triple rotor. Had a good look around that and a good chat with Mad Mike this morning. What I can tell you, Moz, is that Mad Mike is quietly confident. He is feeling good here this weekend. The car has come together nicely. He's got that new K-Dub suspension set up in the front. He's got the Wise Fab. He is feeling good. So Mad Mike has been coming here for 7 years, Moz. He's had a second, he's had a third, but he's never had that number one spot.
He's coming off the back of the number one in Formula Drift Japan, is that right?
Yes, he is.
Had the big number one, took home the cherry. He's got to get busy with the fizzy on the top of the podium. And that's probably his first win in a little while.
Now, hang on, what's going on here, Moz? Because we've got Cole Armstrong being pushed back just along the bottom of the screen there. So Cole there's Cole. Hello, Cole. There's Avon on the team.
Are they all tall as Cole?
They are all about as tall as Cole. It's like Team Giraffe, basically. Even Emily's not that small in terms of...
tall.
Yeah,
so the guys here, what are they doing? Checking tyre pressures?
They'll be checking the tyre pressures there and just making sure that everything is held together. They're refuelling it just to make sure it has everything that it needs for later on tonight. Mike will just be trying to cool down, I'd imagine. There's Daigo's Wonder machine. I believe that's also a 3.4 miles.
Yeah, there's not much in the engine bay. Very clean.
That is Tux, I think, walking through screen there. There's the MCA machine. Shane Van Gisbergen just on screen Unfortunately, we don't have a mic down there to have a chat with Shane, but it is great. Moz, it's great to see him back here, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, look, I love the kid. You know, he's fabulous. Everything he does. I spent a day with him in the tower at Calder at Drifts once after his car died. You know, just a nice, chatting sort of dude, and can drive the wheels off just about anything.
Yeah, I think he's the guy who turns up right and says, "What's the lap record and where are the keys?" And
which way's turn one?
Yeah. That's what he loves to do. See if we can have a look at some of the other machines that are down there, because I think there's a freshly rebuilt Michael Prosnick machine down there that I saw, which is looking pretty good.
Powered by VB.
Yeah, we know that we know Camo Moat's down there in the Link ECU entry. We haven't seen Mick Rosenblatt, but you said he was looking pretty strong.
I was just talking to him in the pits actually. Yeah, Mike Frozen Cat. He's looking very very strong and confident as well. But he also hasn't competed for a little while. He won a round down here of the first what do they call it, Formula 8 drift thing. Formula 8? Figure of 8.
Figure 8 drift series.
It hasn't done a lot, but that's nice nitrous-fed LS2 in that thing. It's a very healthy bit of kit, and the crew that work on it, it's an immaculate thing. And I think Michael Rosenblatt won last year. Now, he can come back and do it again.
He can, yeah.
Here we go with Sato's car again now.
Yeah.
That's a...
That is a 2JZ, I believe, 3.4 litre. I think that is the SC430 is the chassis model. That is the FD car that he won a championship in. So that was the car that basically he turned up in that, and it blew everyone's mind. He was the guy who went from 800 horsepower to 1200, and it was suddenly, well, where did he go?
Yes.
The tyre smoke is just fantastic off the back of that machine, and it is an absolute animal. And he's the one to watch, Moz. I think, look, he's going to have the harshest set of eyes on him in terms of what the Drift King Suchia will expect from him, but he's also going to be the guy who knows the track. He's been here at night, he's won before, and in an FD spec comp car, he is going to be one difficult man to beat. As we see, Cole Armstrong's car has made it back to the pits. There's the Darren Kelly car in behind that, so looks like the bonnet's gone up and there's some work underway there for the Cole Armstrong team. That's Darren Kelly there on the screen having a bit of a laugh with Cole. Hello, Cole. Colin and Daryl, there they are on screen.
Watch his head on the... I think he hit the tent with his head.
Yeah, it's a bit like that down there. It's a giraffe. So Club Sprint coming up shortly, more session number 4.
Yeah, V-Sport put to V-Sport Club Sport. Club Sprint.
Yeah, V-Sport Club Sprint.
V-Sport getting behind that one. They're lining up on the grid there now, so we'll fire them back out shortly. But the Formula Drift you mentioned with Daigo Sato's car now, Formula Drift is traditionally long, fast corners. They like to use half an oval. They don't really go very slow, so this should suit his car and his style very well as well. I mean, we know we've seen him in, 8 different cars in 7 years here.
Yeah, what I can tell you, Moz, is the entry to that corner number 1 sets everything up. So the entry to that corner is about 165 to 170 k an hour. The reason I know that, because I was fortunate enough to be put in the Team Orange Evo a couple of years ago. And we're actually going to go down to George in the pits and hear from Shane van Gisbergen.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I mean, obviously, we know all about your supercar stuff, but this weekend, drifting hat is well and truly on. Good to drive for Murray again?
Yeah, it's bloody awesome. I missed it last year, unfortunately. We had some racing on, but, yeah, come back just to do the drifting and watch the time attack. Like, seeing those guys going at it, it's just awesome. But, yeah, had a first play then, was pretty cool, and we'll do the qualifying practice later.
Yeah, so a couple of years ago when you just started driving everything you get your hands on, you're like a kid in a candy store, did a lot of Kiwi drifting. Obviously that's helped you a lot and it's stood you in good stead for this weekend. Yeah, well, I haven't done a competition for 2 or 3 years, so that's going to be a battle. But, you know, I've got a great car here, good bunch of guys, so we'll just go out, have some fun, see how we go and hopefully put on a good show. Now, tell me about it, mate. Is it actually that good? You're really comfortable? How does it feel after that first couple of runs? Jump in the passenger seat, come for a ride. You don't have to tell me twice, guys.
Well, George is having a great time down in the pits here with Shane van Gisbergen, and I tell you what, it is well worth going for a ride, George. You should strap yourself into that car if you get a chance and go with it. And we're going to go to a break.
PS4 for the players.
It's on in New South Wales. Kennard Tyre Rally Australia. Let everyone know that it's Supercars Co-Tyre Newcastle 500. Liquid Molly Bathurst 12 Hour. and Southern 80. To find out more, go to visitnsw.com.
We know you have the need for speed. Let Motorsport's TV app feed your addiction and fuel your passion. Monster crashes, live coverage, TV episodes and news. Don't get left behind. Strap yourself in for one hell of a ride.
Today only comes once. Here's to those who take that as a threat and crush it.
Righto, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. V-Sport Club Sprint class, and we are ready to go with another session number 4 for Club Sprints, and they're on the track now. We're looking to knock off that time set by Cox in the Evo Lancer. I'm sitting on top a couple of seconds under the lap record. Just working their way through the back part of the circuit. Now we pick up a couple of the cars. It looks like everyone's going to get out for this session now. It's probably the last chance. And the day's temperature starting to drop just a little bit now as the shadows get a little bit longer. And this will be, at the moment, I'd say their last session for the day. Yes, it is. So this is their last chance to have a crack at it today. Okay, we're just going to throw down to George. He's got Mad Mike with him.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It's not many people you meet that make a living out of being wide open every day, and Mad Mike's one of those, mate. Looking good out there. Obviously, your new design car, and how are you feeling?
Yeah, really good. I mean, this is the Bad Bull RX-8, so it runs a 20B turbo, so 3-rotor. Runs a Garrett GTX 45, so sort of 19-pound boost. We're over 800 horsepower at the tyre. Just enough to be able to get around the circuit here, Eastern Creek, for a world time attack. But yeah, we've just come in from the demo. We've just changed over a lot in this car. So obviously cosmetics, working with K-Mura-san at Rocket Bunny over in Japan. All in CAD, you know, it's like really awesome and unique to be able to do it that way. But yeah, it's got KW suspension and the Wisefab, which we've been really developing over the last couple of years in the World Drifting Championship and the MX-5. The RX-8 utilises the same, very similar subframe, so the pickup points are exactly the same. So it's the first time for us running with that setup, but feeling really comfortable in the car straight away. Obviously, I mean, we're coming off this straight well over 200 kilometres an hour, so into turn 1, the adrenaline is just insane.
Yeah, well, you can definitely see it. When a driver's comfortable, they're relaxed, they're easy, it's all loose, you know, good to go. And as he said, this thing, 20B rotor, this 20B was what he said, it absolutely melts tyres. So if you pan down here, this is what a tyre looks like at the end of a run with Mad Mike. Absolutely melts them.
You know, with drifting, it's actually, as much as it looks like as much power as possible and as less grip, or as drivers now in the Pro, we're trying to get as much grip as possible. So you have the control, you have the speed, able to execute extreme angles. So this is a Nitto NT05, so you buy it for your street car. That's one of the requirements for drifting globally. But it's just a really, really soft compound, really sticky. And yeah, I mean, these things last not even a lap. So we're trying to conserve a tyre. When you're doing demos, you're trying to conserve the tyre. We're trying to set up a little bit in the car just to be able to try and get at least 1 or 2 laps in. But yeah, when it comes to competition tonight, we'll be running really low pressures, wheel alignment will change, and things will start gripping up a lot.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Mad Mike Woodette, you ain't seen nothing yet.
He ain't seen nothing yet.
I feel like George is getting a bit excited about this drifting thing down there. He's like a big kid. He wants to get in the car there, Moz.
He's got his groove on, that's for sure.
He has. Look at this machine out on track here, Moz.
Yeah, that's Roger Arnold, his father and son combination. It's the father there aboard the ex-Gibson Motorsport display car, so never actually saw competition. Action replay from a bit of action here.
There's a bit going out on track, Moz. Car 74 just been showing a black flag as well. So
Benny Tran here running wide. Oh, he's right on. There's another postcode out there. He's right off the track, so that's going to be expensive for his lap time. Benny Tran, one of the hard chargers out there, and currently sitting with a 139. I think he's in second place at 139.3 in this V Sport Club sprint class.
Oh, car 74 black flag, excessive smoke there, Moz. It's not good for Mr. Miller.
Got the chaff on, so obviously something relating to the engine there. Check back on that one later on as we see the 91 car now on track.
Tunehouse Racing sponsored entry.
That's the STI GD WRX.
Isn't it fantastic just to see how this class has grown and evolved, Moz, over the years?
Oh, it's crazy. Every class, if you like, but I mean, this has just gone next level. We had basically standard cars running around here not so long ago.
Well, this used to be what Pro was, right? This is Pro. 5 years ago, these were the Pro cars.
Now, A-Hanger here is driving, he's got a billet block out of America, bought a couple of engines out of America for this Subaru WRX, making around about 400 plus horsepower, depending on which tune he runs. It's a very shallow entry there.
Who doesn't have a billet block, Moz? This is the year of the billet block, right? That was what someone was telling me. This is the year of the billet block and the sequential transmission. Is it because there's so much good stuff being built in Aussie at the moment?
Well, that's one point, but what else can you use a billet block in? Drag racing or world time attack? So they've actually made something out of this sport. You know, you can't use it in circuit racing or anything like that as such to meet a class. So, you know, it's brought a whole new industry in world time attack, and it's great to see. Like I say, if you haven't got a billet, put it back in the trailer, bro. And you see, it's a good run from A-Hanger there. He's up over the back of the circuit, running a good lap this one. So we'll see if we can lay it down a little better. His current best is a 144.1. Have we got Cox back out on the track? We have got Cox out now. So our leader with a 137.56 from the morning session. Cox on track. Now, this is the guy I tipped at the start of the day before he hit the track that he might just be on the pace. And it looks like he is. So it's the 89 car currently leading.
Bit of a slowdown here on the inside of the track there, Moz. Mechanical problems for the number 75 entry, I think that was. 74, 78. Might have been 78 was experiencing some issues there. We're following the 91 car out on track at the moment. 91 is the entry being driven by
78.
Eden A-Hanger?
A-Hanger, that's right. Indeed. Yes, he's driving in the WRX STI, and across the line we go with Benita. He runs through in a 141, and then we go A-Hanger with a 144.2, 1/10 off his best time. Arnold through.
You've got to feel like those turbo cars will not be liking that hot air out there at the moment.
No, that's right.
Temperatures are well up. The chances of seeing PBs tumbling, other than for those who've had a tough and challenging day, Moz, probably fairly remote. But nonetheless, these guys are out there giving it a great go, Moz, and there's some fantastic looking machinery out there too. Some of these things are just an absolute joy to look at. The guys have not only taken to making them go, they've taken to making them show too.
Exactly right. Yeah, half of them make good show cars, there's no doubt about that.
Now we should probably talk about that too, Moz, right? Because there's a bit of a show going on as well. The stylised event over on the skid pad, the Shannon Stylised Modified Car Show. The Shannon Stylised Friday Unveil Party tonight is at 7 o'clock, Moz. You and I were talking about that because apparently there's a bit of a barbecue going on up there.
There is a World Food Festival thing with tables and a whole lot going, and a big screen to watch the drifting.
So don't disappear. Basically, there's about 4 more sessions to go, I think, today in the time attack. Then the drifting, the practice will kick off. Then we'll go into qualifying for an hour. So we're running an express format tonight, Moz. And the Shannon Stylised event up there on that skid pad, so well worth heading up there, checking out what the boys have been up to in the off-season. Some unveils going down tonight, Moz, and last year they were pretty spectacular.
Yeah, 3, but you know, be able to watch the drifting from up there, get a feed and check out these cars. It's going to be a carnival atmosphere down at the pits this year, and of course they have the big screen on, which is a bonus, but they've got massive big lighting towers and stuff up in there too, so you can check out the sweet rides. Betty Tran through the 1-4. Here we go there. Betty Tran, 2:18 is a warm-up lap for Tran. Still the best at 1:39.3, sitting in second position overall. Jordan Cox came back into the pits there in the 89 car, the current leader. Went out for a bit of an installation lap, and we might see him back out again shortly. I'm hoping to see Jordan Cox to put down just one more lap today. As he said in his earlier interview, there's no point taking it out in the middle of the day because the car doesn't like heat. When you screw boost into something, it produces heat. And when you're talking heat, I'm not just talking about in the exhaust or the engine. Everything gets hot. The injectors, the inlet manifold, the intake, your engine mounts, if you like. Everything gets very hot. So things don't perform when they're hot as well as they do in the cold, as we found.
I'm not sure that David Lord's taking it that easy, though, in the Tunehouse Racing entry there. Seems like he's pretty hard up at the moment there, Moz.
He's the 147 at the moment, Lord, so he'll need to improve a fair bit on that to get down one of the podium positions. But he has done a green sector there in the first sector, so that's good to see. So we can pick it up from there. Lord comes out of the third last turn, heads down to the Honeywell Garrett. Honeywell Garrett Hook will call that one this afternoon. And then to the second to last corner. This is the money corner here. It's all about just getting that power to the ground. Heaps of power in most of these cars. They've got a harder tyre than the rest of the classes, so they've got to try and make it work for this final turn. There's the Diggles in the house. G'day, Diggles.
Diggles just using his technology in the commentary booth here, just observing what's going on. Isn't this Garmin timing fantastic, Moss, giving us these splits up on screen?
Yeah, Garmin getting right behind. Geez, Garmin are doing a lot of supporting of different sports at the moment. It's great to see them.
1:47.05 for David Lord in the Tunehouse Racing entry. Definitely too hot out there now, Moss.
Too hot, yes. That's why I reckon Cox has gone out and said, nah, we've got too hot. Put her in moods.
So 10 seconds is the difference. 1:37.56, Jordan Cox, current class leader for the V Sport class.
Yes, indeed. He's out by about a second or two, nearly 2 seconds over Betty Tran, holding down second position. That's a pretty good effort there from Jordan Cox to hold them out for the day. Of course, one more part of this, if you like, part two of the V Sport Club Sprint class to come out next. As we see the 75 car just making its way around. It's a bit of a medium pace there.
Aidan Mongor in the S15 Sylvia.
Sweet looking ride they was.
Alpha Omega Racing.
The flares on there and the pumped out front guards. Good looking machine.
Wolf is, what's Wolf?
That's an ECU. But, of course, we're sponsored by Howtech this weekend, so we won't mention that.
No, just checking there, Moz. I thought Wolf was a muffler, that's all.
He's also a furry animal that takes to people.
The big bad one.
Yeah, big bad wolf. Okay, we're running down to the end of this last Club Sprint, V-Sport Club Sprint class run for the first half of the class here today. We'll follow that up with the part two of this one and before we shoot into our next open class. And then, of course, Pro Am and through to Pro for the afternoon to round it off. Before we slip into the Honeywell Garrett International Drift Challenge this evening.
Yeah, that's when you and I will come to life, Moz. That's really our specialty. We are here to put on the drift show. As our director of production, Ren, shows his handsome face to us, just banging on the window there to make sure we're still alive here, Moz.
He's a good-looking guy. I don't know why he's not out there promoting something. Like he should be dressed up in lycra.
He probably should be. Speaking of good-looking gentlemen, Moz, we've got the great Denzo joining us tonight as well.
I did see Denzo here, yes, and noticed there was no pies left there after he was there as well.
Well, apparently he was last seen eating an entire crate of bread outside catering. So.
Oh, dear. Yeah, don't even it's one of the characters of drifting. Been around, I don't know, I think he's been drifting for 68 years or something, he said.
Like that, yeah. Started when he was 30 as well.
Yeah, he said he's probably not the youngest guy in the scene.
Hey, Mongol goes off the track here.
Eating some dirt. Wow. So that's not handy for a lap time there for Monger in a 75. He was pushing hard, though. He had a green sector up until then, so unfortunately it's not going to be his best lap.
So, Moz, with these guys here in the, I guess, the Club Sprint class, would they be generally getting straight out of it after they throw away a hot lap like that, or are they just out there doing that?
No, they've still got their predictive on the dash, so they're, most of them would have a data logger and a predictive lap. So each time, the whole way through it, it'll say you're heading for a 137 or you're heading for a 139. You get a green spot on that, you know you're going to go under it. And once you lose 2 or 3 tenths, there's just no point working the tyres, working the engines, working yourself for that matter, for that, because you know you're not going to get any better.
Yeah, I sort of feel like there's probably going to be a bit of fatigue as well kicking in for a lot of these guys because it's a hot day. Speaking of which, Moz, time for a little bit of a break.
Roger, Roger.
I practiced on Gran Turismo my whole life, and then I got the chance to race for real. I went from an Aussie Post driver to GT Academy, then to professional racing. My dream has come true. That is why I'm so excited for GT Sport. Dynamic 4K HDR visuals and PlayStation VR is the closest you can get to being in the race. Except, you know, actually racing. The world's greatest racing game is back. GT Sport, only on PlayStation 4, for the players.
South Wales. Kennard's Hire Rally Australia.
Let everyone know that it's
Supercars Kotaya Newcastle 500. Liquimolly Bathurst 12 Hour. And Southern 80. To find out more, go to visitnsw.com.
We know you have the need for speed. Let Motorsport's TV app feed your addiction and fuel your passion. Monster crashes, live coverage, TV episodes and news. Don't get left behind. Strap yourself in for one hell of a ride.
Does your car need brakes, clutches, boost controllers, or wastegates? Go to highoctanedirect.com. Do you want an ECU, intercooler, inlet or exhaust manifolds, or even a raised gearbox or dry sump kit? Go to highoctanedirect.com. Do you want the best prices, fast delivery, and good honest advice? Go to highoctanedirect.com. Race-winning Aussie performance parts shipped direct to your door. highoctanedirect.com. Whether you are in the USA, Canada, UK, or anywhere around the world, go to highoctanedirect.com.
Beautiful Sunday afternoon here, Friday afternoon, day one as we officially rated as the Yokohama World Time Attack Challenge. We're into this last couple of sessions of the day before we kick it up the back for a little bit of drifting perfection. And with Moz and Woz, they did a great little stint in there, keeping their eyes in. Check 1-2 sounded good, can't wait for it. And now into one of our last sessions, I think, of Club Sprint, our last shot at it. And right now on screen, we'll get the entrant number there of the S14, S13. Shout out, who's the shout out? Kat Benson.
Kat Benson wants to be here. She's on the next flight.
Oh, Kat. We've only got Sheridan this year. Kat and Sheridan would have been good.
I know.
We would have put Kat and Sheridan in together.
There is no bigger smile out there in that pity area than Sheridan Budsworth at the moment. We're looking for her to hit the track in this session, and she's on the track at the moment. A 1:49.95 at the moment, so I still think there's a bit more left in her, but tomorrow morning will be her chance to shine. The number 80 car, that's 14 Sylvia by the looks of it, on circuit.
And right now, entrant 70's up on screen, and that's Stephen Planinic, Garage 88, Evo 9. He's out on his flying laps. Planinic so far with his lap times, he's gone minute 44.789, so not up on his previous sectors before either. So again, a lot of this is going through the motions. If anything, it's track time. These guys love it. Why wouldn't you take every session? You notice the Club Sprint, we've probably got the highest participation rate of any category, where every session they're all out if they don't have problems. They just want to put every lap in they can. So it doesn't matter whether you're right up in the top 5 or whatever. You're out there just taking you and your own clock every lap. Well, you're a part of the class of 2017 as far as I'm concerned. And why wouldn't you? You'd steer something, especially like out there now. Aidan Holman, talk about steering it.
Mate, that was super loose. You enjoyed the drifting with moves like that.
At least in Club Sprint, 99% of the time, we know the bloke driving it owns it.
Yes, indeed. That's very, very true.
And they've got to be registered. I mean, in the exception of Cox, of course, at the moment, because that bloke's got in there and had a taste of a bit of Evo 9 brilliance.
We came up with the timing screen that last session, but went out, did an installation and came back in and go back out. So obviously we registered 2 attempts pack it away. So here we go, the Porsche. So you look this bloke in the Porsche. I think you were very
yes, that's Paul Kovacevic from, of course, he's obviously another Porsche fan. And you know what, it's good that more guys turn up in Porsches, and now that they've got themselves a hero car in, of course, the 968, is that, you know, a little bit of Euro representation's always been there. We are shy on Merc. We've had a Merc or two less this year, I've noticed too.
Shira Budsworth, all the way from Tasmania, the only female competitor today, out there cutting another lap. She's going to improve at the moment to 1:49.9. She's trying to chase down there in the Christmas Beetle. The Harley Quinn paint, as I like to say. And so straight from the drifting circuit, they put this car through a bit of change, dynoed it up, and came back out and wanted to go to World Time Attack, and that's what she's done. And I tell you what, she can hold her head pretty high. She's done well in the Pig 032, as it's called, and cutting out there at 1:49.9.
We're keeping her on screen too, Moz, until now. Cue camera, and we're on to the next one, and it is the RX-7 in high-speed pursuit of the BMW entrant number 95, being Heath Moore, the Harrop Engineering M3. That's about as Aussie an M3 as you're going to get, the Harrop M3. And he's out there, the RX-7, going to hunt him down. They're both with a little bit of an agenda here, Moz. They both want to get a good lap in. And this is sometimes what a club sprint practice, well, when I say practice lap, a lap where they're both on a hot one. It's just, can they keep each other apart enough for the whole lap to not to the disbenefit of one of the two of them.
Oh, big moment. Big flame out too from Rahul Victor.
It's almost like he had
the BMW was hooked up back into the corner next to the flame to flash. And these guys are on it hard.
Well, let's have a look at what times they've been running and see whether they are actually, you know, neck and neck, can stay this distance apart in fighting distance. So Rahul Victor.
He's just wound his window down.
Oh, has he? Had a chat. Had a chat.
More smashed carrots.
minute 45, and I had 99 there. Where was it? It's gone. Minute 45. Actually, they're both minute 45 cars, I think. So that's probably the reason why.
Rahul Victor has backed out of it now in the RX-7 by the looks of it.
It's got a ring to it, doesn't it?
Rahul Victor.
Yeah, Heath Moore, entrant 95. Not coming up on that one now, but the M3. There it is. Entrant number 95, Heath Moore.
Harrop Engineering backing, so that have some good fruit on that one.
I'm just going down the list trying to find a representative time that he's done, and it looks like nothing is yet. So
I haven't seen a lot of laps. No, so here we go across the line. We'll see what he can line up as he heads for his first time lap of the day. By the looks of it, in the BMW, that'll be a V10.
Yeah, well, it's an M3, I think. It's actually the V8 M3. Minute 47, there we go. Minute 47, 7:29. So he's finally nailed a run down there as Heath Moore. And again, yeah, I had a look under the bonnet of that thing, and that's the Harrop supercharger on the BMW. All right, Emma, what have you got down there for us?
Guys, I really hope you got air conditioning in your combox, because I am hot out here. It's only 25 degrees, but the track temperatures, they're at about 50 to 55. Now, you saw a lot of guys exit that last session very, very early, and I thought I'd speak to one of the experts, Tim Slade. Now, Tim, how are the track conditions for that last session for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it heats up during the day, so yeah, they're not ideal. I think, you know, if you're going to choose any session during the day to go out and have a run, it'd be early morning, just for everything, for the engine making power and, you know, the tyres gripping to the surface to their optimum. So the hotter it is, basically the less grip you have and the less power the engines make, especially the turbo engine. So, yeah, I mean, it was still surprising, though. It was still pretty close to the time we did this morning. We haven't really maximised any of our runs yet. So we'll make some changes for this next one and have another crack and see if we can't go faster.
Can't wait to see, because the competition is very tight for that next session and, of course, for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's unfortunately tight.
Good for the spectators.
Yeah. Obviously, yeah, it's good for the category of the event, spectators, everything else except me. You like to, you know, it's obviously a lot more comfortable to have a little buffer there. But yeah, I mean, the other guys have been pushing extremely hard with the development of their car. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Good luck for the next one. And just as I talk about how hot it is, there's a nice cool breeze in pit lane. Over to you, George.
Okay, it's just like that the wind has come up out of the south, which will have an effect down the front straight away. They're going to cop it right on the nose. It's only probably about 15 to 20 kilometres an hour, but when you got that aero diggers, that pushes a lot more down on the car.
Yeah, and no matter what weight these cars are as well, when you've got the aerodynamic aid on there, normally you want it to work for you, not against you. Okay, we've got a bit of a replay there, a Canadian replay. and there was an off, and our cameras have caught it. Kane in action replay. Check this out. Yeah, well, is that him again?
Second time.
That's the second time now. Stephen Wan, entrant number 96. Twice that corner has been his up, and you know what? I'm immediately starting to think about that breeze.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, the breeze can have an effect. So as they're coming in pretty hard there, I'm going to step aside and let the great Chad back in the house.
Yeah, I think maybe, I know we put it down to cold tyres in the first session, but now that that's done, maybe we are getting a little bit of that wind. Have a look at the flags where we are here in our commentary position. We are definitely getting a little bit of wind coming across the bottom of where you come through Armando, turn 1. It would definitely unsettle cars like that. Down to George, what have you got for us, big boy?
You cross him first.
Okay, guys, this is the dream of everyone in the PlayStation generation. We've got Aiden with his beautiful JGTC RX-7 and Dale with his fantastic Unicia Jex S15. Guys, obviously these things are, you know, they were the dream of everyone who owned PlayStation. Aiden, you told me before that you actually, you know, you loved that you could actually play this car on the video game.
Yeah, as a kid, you got to play it, and it was a big deal to buy it at the time. Now, to buy the real thing, I never thought in my lifetime I would get to sit in it, drive it, and own it. So it's an incredible feeling. And
well, I tell you, one of the best stories about this is the first time you've actually driven this car was today. So how did that feel, mate, hitting out on the track for the first time?
It was undescribable how that was going out there in that car on the track, making some noise and getting out there. To get it here has been quite an effort, but I couldn't be happier that we made the effort and put on a show for the fans.
Yeah, well, exactly right. And you plan to race this car, don't you? That's the whole point of buying this car, was to be able to use it, take it back to your native New Zealand and really enjoy, you know, this fantastic machine.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking forward to getting it home. We've got a great team, the Green brothers back home. Hewitt Motor Elite finished the build off for us, and now we'll head it home and put it together and get it out on the track and start doing some endurance races with it, and yeah, try and mix it with the big European brands.
And well, Dale, you've had your car a little bit longer. You took delivery just over a year ago. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we took delivery probably about 18 months ago now. It's been a bit of a mission to sort of get the car back to original, and as it was competing in Japan, and the car's coming along really well. So it's been a positive 12 months.
Well, it's in its day. This car was a real heavy hitter, won plenty of races, and it's great to see it back in that old Unicia Jex paint job as well.
Absolutely, yeah. The original livery certainly has a lot of character to it, and it was one that Nissan ran for a long time, since the early 90s, so I guess it's quite recognisable.
And one of these cars, they're actually classed as a Japanese GT 300, so 300 horsepower is the plan. Now, if you could head around to the driver's side, we could take a look inside. Obviously, it's a full race car, very Spartan. You can see in there's nothing in there that doesn't need to be there. And then as we come back outside, one of the most unique things about this thing is that these two little scoops on the back window, they're actually brake ducts. So they're there to cool the rear brakes and without providing any extra drag. As we come over to the RX-7, this thing is loud. I mean, it rivals the 767B for noise, and it really, really, you know that that's the car out there on the track at the time. Is that a thread off? Panning through, what a beautiful thing. Well, gentlemen, I've got to say, you've got two amazing cars here. You should be so proud. Thank you very much for bringing them along. Thank you very much for showing us. Keep an eye out for these two battling over the rest of the weekend.
Come in when we want. No problems there, George. We'll go through the Garmin leaderboard for the finish of V-Sport Club Sprint for the day. It's like this, Chad.
Yeah, 1 minute 37.56 for Jordan Cox, who's no stranger to going fast this year. We saw him on track wowing people at the 12-hour and also at the Clipsal 500 in improved production. Well, he got a bit of an online following after that. I think a few million people saw his efforts in that car, and he's looking good at the moment. 1:37.5 and clear of the chasing pack at the moment. Looking forward to seeing how Link ECU Open class works out. That's on track next.
PS4 for the players.
What we have here is the Volkswagen Amarok V6 Turbo Diesel. This is the base car that you will see the Modern Apprentice program work on and will be revealed at the World Time Attack.
So the idea behind this concept was pretty simple. We wanted to give our top-tier apprentices the opportunity to do something that they wouldn't normally do in their day-to-day. Obviously, there's not a lot left of the original Amarok, but before we build it up, we have to tear the thing down.
Volkswagen. It's on in New South Wales. Kennard's Hire Rally Australia. Let everyone know that it's Supercars Kotaya Newcastle 500. Liqua Molly Bathurst 12 Hour. And Southern 80. To find out more, go to visitnsw.com.
Don't miss a second of the action. Every corner, every shift, every heartbreak. See your motorsport as it should be, live and free. Download your Motorsport TV experience now.
There are limits to what you can achieve in a single day. Then again, maybe there aren't. Phoenix 5S from Garmin.
Are you after quality performance products for your car? Talk to the people that speak your language. At highoctanedirect.com, we bring you the best deals on all the top brands. Tommy, Nitto, Garrett, Whiteline, Haltech, Turbo Smart, Project Mu, Extreme Clutch, and much, much more. highoctanedirect.com, your gateway to automotive performance.
Beautiful Sydney Friday afternoon. The breeze we can see going across the flags there on the main straight, Sydney Motorsport Park. And it is the Yokohama World Time Attack Challenge. Chad Naylor, we were talking off camera before we just hit it, watching those amazing ads. Geez, we've got some great industries involved here and some great people. We're just talking about all of these great people. And the love is definitely out there. And we're shooting, Chad's running curves over here, right? we could curve, we could graph some curves, what he's done there. I wish you had a whiteboard like Larko.
I do need it at the moment. I've just been looking over sector times for our Royal Purple Pro class because the speed we've seen increase. So last year the best time was a 1:22.1. This year we've moved comfortably into the 21s. We've seen two 1 minute 21 lap times set by Tim Slade, and now we've seen Barton Moore join him. Going over their personal best sector times, the interesting thing is they've all got some speed to find yet. So when you look at that, you go, okay, from the three sections we've seen on the racetrack, every single one of those drivers hasn't put their best lap together yet when it comes to Slade, Moore and under Suzuki. That's how much time there is to find. So when we look at Tim Slade in particular, he's got best sector times across the board. As we check out the Garmin leaderboard, that time of a 1:21.89, when you add up his best sectors, becomes a 1:21.4. So he's still got nearly, actually just over, I should say, 4/10 of a second to find. For Barton Moore, he's 1:21.9 when you add up his best sectors. Well, he's not got a lot to find. It just becomes a 1:21.8. That quick lap last time when he set that 1:21.9, it was a 10th of a second slower through sector 2.
It's just mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing that everyone's doing something right somewhere on the track. It's just not the one car doing it.
Under Suzuki's got 3/10 of a second to find down there in the Scorch Race in Sylvia. His best sector times were set on lap 5, 3 and 7. So there's really no rhyme or rhythm to it. Actually, the only guy who's managed to piece two good sectors together today was Barton Moore when he got that lap together. His sectors 1 and 3 were his best of the day. So really struggling at the moment to get, as we call it, that one perfect lap. And that's why I bring this up, because typically speaking, if you put all three of your fastest sectors together, that's when your best lap should come from. But at the moment, we're seeing quite a bit of room for improvement. And as this track begins to cool off at the end of the day, which hopefully it will before the pro cars come out, they're not too far away. A few lucky people getting to sit in the 767B right now. We should see some pretty quick lap times.
You know, motorsport's hard to humanise, but I see a big joining of the man and machine this weekend. Like, I mean, you've got the best steerers in the place. You've got the best engineers that have put these cars together, completely different staff and teams. And then it's all about the driving styles. Tim Slade, I mean, he makes it look pretty clean and neat. Barton, we do start to see, Barton gets our attention. I mean, maybe because the Porsche's so damn wide, that's one thing, but the way the aero kit is on it, the way where Barton's looking, as you said, a couple of hundreds here, a couple of hundreds there. Barton looks like he goes looking for them. And in this particular category, everyone's packing 1,000-odd horsepower. Everyone's packing, you know, all the best aero in the world. So at the end of the day, those fearless people that drive them, and you know what a great little internal battle between Tim and Barton this year. With now they've got almost identical equipment, mind you, from two completely different packages. So it's going to be an amazing last stint here today. And you know what? That's just the sprint. The marathon's the rest of the time before the end to the Super Lap shootout tomorrow afternoon. On track now, our last hit of our open category. And the tail of the tape is this, with Morecambe at a minute 28.598. Kazmiri in the Honda. You know what? I love that Honda up the top there for so long, and now in a little sandwich at the moment, a four-wheel drive sandwich with Longhurst. Matt Longhurst, minute 29.603. And then Junior Johnson, minute 31.489, and Ashwin, 31.525. And Garth Walden, hey, minute 31.924 in there as well. Throw in the Kiwi, Andy Duff, and triple rotor. Bates, Coote and Hall, that's our top 10 so far for the open category, thanks to the great people in Link ECU, of course, from NZ. So, of course, Andy Duffin is running a link in it. There's quite a few links here. And you know what? We were talking to Jeff Boulos before just about how the industry benefits from racing. Any racing benefit, any racing brings benefits to industry. And just the sheer fact that we have ECU manufacturers out there from New Zealand and Australia, predominantly in these cars. I mean, we're using all local product.
Okay, Matt Longhurst, the South Aussie. Look at that tyre rubbing on the guard through turn one. This car uses super shocks, which is something that we see in supercars developed by Oscar Furinotto out of South Australia. This has been turning very quick lap times at its local track at Malala. They only get 3 sets of tyres, so Matt Longhurst was hoping to try and use them all in the morning sessions today. So I'm not sure of the tyre life that he'll have on right now as he goes across that first sector time. It's a 26.8. So he's about 2/10 slower than his original time set earlier today. But this is where he's been losing the time towards Nathan Morecambe. He's 7/10 down around this part of the track on the class leader.
Isn't it amazing that someone's got just a part that they just absolutely nailed? Just, it's theirs. This guy's nowhere near it. Sometimes when you look at it all, it's like, man, how can you even just make one lap look like that's the battle? When really, if we keep breaking it down, you could go nuts. You could put 6 sectors on here, Chad. We could break it all the way back. But someone's just got a pet way. Some guys have got a pet way around these corners. And you know, Longhurst, again, it's a rhythm as well. It's like, I need to have the car right there. This thing's going to unload. Comes now out of Garrett Honeywell onto the main straight. What are we looking like?
He's found himself 0.03 of a second, so he might sneak into the 129.5s on this lap, if those sector times are anything to go by. So 129.5 will probably be the predicted time on the dash.
Yes,
and he finds 3 more tenths in the last sector alone.
Yes, there we go. So maybe some fresher tyres on that, Chad.
Came home with a wet sail. That's a big last sector.
That is a good one from him too. That's a great consolidator. Minute 29.296. Just puts a little bit more of a squeeze on Kazmiri. So no pressure, Kazmiri. But Longhurst might just have a little bit more to throw at you yet. And again, you know, what's another couple of hundredths? Again, you can find it on every corner or lose it on one. Coming now into turn 9, we've got eyes on screen now. Again, it's got a little bit of Group B, these cars, when they come out of turn 9, popping and backfiring on the gear changes.
So Kazmiri just finished a lap. That's a 128.9, so a 10th off his best. He remains in P2. Couldn't close that gap. Gooley completed a lap, 135.7 last time by. He jumps up a couple of spots. Nick Ashwin crosses for his best lap time just now with a 131. So we're seeing some improvement here.
Everyone gets a PB at the moment, and here we go, the Dream Garage car
now,
on track.
Kurokawa, we haven't seen too much of this guy so far today, and this is a car that we were hoping to see up inside the top 10, maybe even sneaking inside the top 5.
He's leaving his run pretty late, Chad, if he's going to come out in one of the last sessions for Saturday, for Friday rather, and put something down. But if anyone can do it, it'll be Kurokawa. Duffin, minute 32, 8:19. That RX-7 continues to give us everything he's got. And you know what, minute 32s, if that's all he's got, well, we're happy to have you here, Andy Duffin. But right at the moment, you're thinking, aren't you, on your feet there, Chad, running the numbers.
Yeah. Wu, Bates and Johnson all improving on that last lap. Johnson getting closer to getting himself inside the P3 no improvement.
30.
And Walden knocking on the door of trying to make it inside the top 5 and hasn't improved on this lap, I don't think. So
it's got a little bit tighter right there when we look at it, Chad, especially when we think about who's on the podium. We also think about who's in the Super Lap shootout. So we're thinking about two things there. Who's 1, 2, 3 on the podium, but who actually gets it into that shootout. And it's going to be a battle with there if Walden can get it in there. All right, we're keeping an eye on Andy Duffin out there as it's popping there, definitely getting everyone's attention. So just rolling off the throttle there, Andy Duffin. Plenty of flamage there for us. But yeah, again, Kaz Muri, that's the second time Kaz Muri snuck under our radar and delivered out a pretty good lap time.
So no improvement on Nathan Morecambe's time yet, but let's hear from the man who's currently dominating in V Sport Club Sprint with Emma.
Yeah, Chad, just down in the pits, thought I'd catch up with Jordan Cox. Now he had the fastest time this morning, then he benched for 2 sessions, and not the greatest lap times in the last one. What was the problem, mate?
Just the track condition. We tried to tune the car to really suit the conditions. Didn't work, and we parked it basically. So it's also down in power. We've got a few engine dramas, so we need to work on that tonight. So bit of work to do, but we're excited for tomorrow if the rain holds off. So.
I did hear that you enjoy the wet.
Yeah, I do love the rain. Unfortunately, it's no good for lap times, but if we want to put on a four-wheel drive drift show or something, like, it's cool. So, yeah.
Well, good luck. And I've got to ask, mate, is this afternoon tea? I couldn't pull him away from his gummy bears.
This is the trick to making it go fast. More sugar. Just add sugar. So.
Thanks, boys.
Oh, here we go. Nice work. He's 25 years of age and on top of the world at the moment in the V Sport Club Sprint categories. We turn our attention to our league leader right now in this class, Global Aircraft Services Nathan Morecambe. And turning up the wick, let's see what this first sector time is like. It's a 26.5, and it's within range as he gets a little bit sideways through the middle. This is where he's been his quickest, and quicker than anyone else in this class is through sector 2.
And so far he's shown us that there's definite intent in this lap, and he's going to try and push it through. Now, he doesn't have to do anything other than just say to him, well, hello. Yeah, and that was a dramatic, that's a very dramatic pull-up there for Morecambe. That's a big indicator of something not quite right in the car, a breakage you would assume. I don't know, maybe the lights went out, you never know. I mean, these cars are so complicated. It can be an electrical, mechanical, driveline issue. And look, I don't see any smoke too much coming out of it, but something said to Nathan Morecambe, you better get this thing off the track. And, you know, sometimes drivers know their cars all so well, if they know it's hurt, getting it off there straight away, something's not right in that thing. I can't see any fumage or anything coming out of the car. Just getting himself ready. Got a thumb to say he's A-OK, but we're going to have to be putting a halt on this particular session anyway as we recover him. He's in a pretty precarious position.
We're getting towards the end of that first group of open class cars anyway, so he was really the only driver out there that was on a hot lap. Kazmiri Kurokawa did get a lap in, 136.1, and that'll be the first really quick time from him so far this weekend, set on his first lap. We have seen improvements for Bates, Johnson, Ashwin, Gooley, but no guys inside the top 3 improving on their time at the moment. Comes Wu. This guy getting plenty of airtime like he did 12 months ago. Does more laps than anyone else in this category. This is his 19th lap of the day already.
I was just trying to see the lap time for Kurokawa last year, Chad. I think you might have had your hands on it there from the previous year, just to see whether Kurokawa was getting closer to his mark. Minute 36.136 on that lap with not a lot of track time. And as you said, plenty of laps by these gentlemen. And in this particular case, we see Kieran Wu out there, race division. Knows his way around Sydney Motorsport Park.
It was a 132.2 last year for the Dream Lotus team.
Needs a little bit more than that. But look, good to see that they finally get the car up and at least out on track. And thank goodness for the 2-day format as they get to improve in the next sessions tomorrow and see if at least they can get back to near where they were. And as far as being in contention, that's, well, let's put it that way, that's the nature of the beast. In contention, the next thing you know, stuff like this happens. Some pretty decent performances from the teams combined with the driver's skill, just that little thing as well called the conditions that pop up. You know, we've got a little bit of wind across the place now, and it's definitely could be causing a little bit of havoc for these vehicles. Comes out of there with the back wheel in the air, and Wu flying down onto the track now to see whether or not he's done any better. Pops it through there now, minute 36.548, so he's best of a 36.062. Shows that is at least keeping the intensity up there. And again, as we said, the conditions can, all you've got to do is vary a little bit in temperature, track temperature, a bit of debris on the track that wasn't there 3 hours ago. Can really mess your lap up. Now, here's my underdog story for the weekend already. Robert Gourley, Mr. Billet Block, Mr. Sequential, Mr. all of that. He's coming out with nothing better to do than improve on it, and he feels rightfully so. I mean, this man cleans up a lot in the Queensland Championships. He goes up and dices with the sports sedans and everything and basically just clears out and leaves everyone behind. We did the Cootha Classic hill climb a couple of years ago, and Gould's turned it on. I thought, Gould's, you can't run that splitter up here on a hill climb. And he said, just watch me. And he went very close, nearly looped it on the top hairpin once. But he goes out and has a crack, Gould's, and he's back there. Well, obviously, whether or not the diffuser has been refabricated or completely removed. I think it's Gornsky. We're seeing, yeah, we can see under the car. No, it's gone. We can, geez, you know when a guy hasn't cleaned up his air, and you can still see his exhaust pipe from the back.
Well, it's impressive that he managed to improve in this session then.
Yeah.
Given that he's missing his rear diffuser. And no improvement that time by 136.3, but getting plenty of
he's got to
track time.
He's got to stay on track now. That's the key to Gould's, to push a little bit harder. But look, you'd be a little bit enthused by that. That's nearly getting back to where he was before he had that. Again, where he tapped the brakes, the thing must have sent him a signal that he needed to correct there on Armando, which caused the diffuser to come out. But out there now, I think with this one, Ashwood trying to punch a good lap in here. And again, the additions of the extra aero bibs up on the front quarter panels certainly cries out that we're looking for a bit more front end grip. Normally getting you would assume the power on early, but that would normally only work on at least a medium corner.
He's 1.3 seconds off, actually 1.7 seconds off the pace from where he was earlier for that 131.3. So
we're still pretty crook in the conditions and not very turbo friendly at the moment.
He'll struggle to sneak into the 32s on this lap, I'm afraid. For Nick Ashwin, a man who stood on the podium 12 months ago in this class.
We've got a few more minutes in this session, so I thought he might have given it another push through there. You're always hoping for the one extra lap, but he'd have that report through from the crew. Minute 33.253, no improvement. Come and let it cool down. All right. Kirikawa back out there in pit lane. And again, it's hard to tell what we're looking at when we've got doors open. We're looking for staff on the car. We're looking for some activity to indicate maybe if there's an issue there or whether they're ready to go and send it again. Tyre temperature check would be at least the absolute minimum they would do. And that is Andy Duffin flying through. And he's on. Here we are. Gee, he caught everyone's attention straight away, didn't he?
You hear him.
Oh, then we see him. And then we see him. Then we hear him and we see him.
And you'll hear him before you see him with the fast Kiwis.
These rotaries, they're great at getting attention. And look, Andy would be happy to keep himself in those 32s. He's already in 7th with that.
Now, 27.3 was his best first sector time set earlier today in the very cool conditions. He's 2 tenths down to the first sector as he feeds the power on. Big flame out the back for the fast Kiwis.
Yeah, we can hear him nearly every corner now there, and you can see the car sort of belches out a little bit of combination of like a black and a bluey white smoke. That's a mixture of, I think he's on E85, this car, and that'd really sort of explain the discharge we're getting out of the back of the car. The mixture of the premix oil running past the seals on the back off, as well as the E85 fuel. The link working very, very well. The G4 power in this rotary through, clean and clear. As clean as a peripheral port 20B can be.
Sounds amazing, doesn't it? Does a lot of testing at Taupo, second sector time. Not encouraging for Andy Duffin. Now he's about 2 seconds off the pace of last year's time, so it's not working out their way at the moment. Listen to this three-rotor. The best sounding car in competition this weekend.
Pretty much. Even when he idles it back through pit lane, it commands attention when it comes past. You just go, dude, you don't need to turn your car off anytime soon. It's not annoying me at all. It's damn fast. So we're coming now into Gran Turismo Sport corner. And, yeah, judging by his exit out of there, just maybe getting back on the pace, or whether he's just super smooth or not. Sometimes guys look deceptively slow when they're on a quick one. Depends on your angle, camera angle. You're normally looking for a bit of push or a little bit of wheel spin out of the back. But he's enjoying it.
So we've got 2 runs in, which is a good sign that if you need it, you can sneak in a couple of runs in the one session.
I want to make him a bet. I bet you he can go a whole lap. I'll give him $100 if he can go a whole lap and not put a flame out the back every corner. Like it's just too amazing. It's just the nature of what a rotary does, and he does it all by accident. He's not deliberately intending to do that, but he's definitely got all of our attention.
So they had an upgraded shock package, brakes. The car was lighter coming into last year. They had it on the dyno as well, and plenty of testing laps at Taupo, and it really rolled out and was quick all weekend. They just snuck themselves into that top 5 shootout right at the last minute. And a 130.4 was just rewards. That's where they wanted to be. But they've gone back to their 2015 times of running in the 1 minute 32s.
And I wonder, was it last year? Did he have nitrous on it last year? Because I just caught it. He did have the nitrous on it last year. Well, I can't blame the nitrous then.
It comes on in stages. It starts in 3rd gear, and then by the time you hit top gear, 5th and then 6th gear, it's 100% NOS. So it's a stage system that he has built into it. And another outing doesn't improve on his time. 2 whole seconds away from his times from last year.
All right, down to George in the pits. You've been doing a great job, mate. Keep it up.
Yeah, thank you, mate. We've got a very quick update from the Car Shop Dream guys. It took me a little while to find the one that speaks English, but they do have some sort of a misfire issue at high RPM, so they're going to take it back in there, work on it, and try and get back out a little bit later.
Well done, George. That's the best part about this category, and it's the best part about what we love so much about World Time Attack. Those international voices down there.
That can talk to you.
No improvement at the top. Nathan Morecambe, I wonder what the issue was for that car. They shut it off abruptly, but he still sits on top with a 128.5. Just 3/10 up on Adam Kasmiri, who did go out in that session but didn't improve. Same for Longhurst. Johnson did improve,
yes,
and he's catching them. There's half a chance that he could put this thing up on the podium at the rate that he's going at the moment. Driving for Jared Maggs, the guy who races in the Toyota 86 series. They've had ignition issues all weekend long. It was cracking spark plugs earlier today and misfiring on 6 cylinders. It looks like they're getting a handle on that car. And the world's best technologies, Nissan Skyline, is just about inside the top 3. Nick Ashwin looking good inside the top 5 at the moment. And that's the cutoff spot, 131.3 to get into that Spares Box Super Lap shootout. Have a look at the names on the outside. You've got Garth Walden, a 3-time winner. Andy Duffin, who was in that shootout last year. A couple of rally legends with names like Coote and Bates there as well. We need a quick break here from Yokohama World Time Attack Challenge, but you don't want to go anywhere because the Pro-Am guys will be next up on the track.
Yes, sir.
I practiced on Gran Turismo my whole life, and then I got the chance to race for real. I went from an Aussie Post driver to GT Academy, then to professional racing. My dream has come true. That is why I'm so excited for GT Sport. Dynamic 4K HDR visuals and PlayStation VR is the closest you can get to being in the race. Except, you know, actually racing. The world's greatest racing game is back. GT Sport. Only PlayStation 4. For the players.
South Wales. Kennard's Hire Rally Australia.
Let everyone know that it's
Supercars Kotaya Newcastle 500. Liquimolly Bathurst 12 Hour. And Southern 80. To find out more, go to visitnsw.com.
We know you have the need for speed. Let Motorsport's TV app feed your addiction and fuel your passion. Monster crashes, live coverage, TV episodes and news. Don't get left behind. Strap yourself in for one hell of a ride.
Gearbox in the GDR for 3 seasons now. It's performed flawlessly and has had no troubles handling 1,000 horsepower.
We hope you're enjoying the GT Sport live stream wherever you're watching from around the world as we get set for Group 2 in our Linky Open Class Pro-Am. Not too far away, but we do have this second running of the final session of the day for our Open Class competitors. Bit of aero out there as well as some highly modified engines, but not quite the same level of modifications that we see in Pro or Pro-Am. And they're out there running on the Advan AO50 control tyre.
Yokohama celebrating 100 years of being Yokohama, and let me tell you, without them World Time Attack, there is no World Time Attack. And you know what? Everyone's on Yokohamas, and that's good for the Yokohama tyre brand as well, because you know what? They get to look at all the tyres that come off these cars and going to make for a better tyre in the future. And you know what? I've got to thank Yokohama for a bit of why we chop all these seconds off. I really do think we've got to put a little bit more into Yokohama for thanking them for the tyres that have made them go quicker every year. Hey, if they were crap tyre, Chad, there'd be the limit, but they keep chopping times off with these Yokies. So we'll angle at that and say for 100-year tyre manufacturer, you've got the quickest time attack cars in the world. Thank you, Yokohama. Basically, Yokohama, home of the world's quickest time attack cars. That is perfect. The solar rays, it's actually, would you believe, as we are late in the afternoon, this is the thing with daylight saving. It technically is 4:45, but in Queensland, we're still in the middle of the day. So this is what heat feels like at midday in our neck of the woods. It's nearly 4 o'clock. Queensland doesn't feel this hot at 4 o'clock. Not for real. But this is, don't you feel this residual heat coming through, Chad? Intensity. He's pushing that thing hard.
Well, he's up to the first sector here, Dan Day, on his own best, which is a good start, the South Aussie. See what he can produce on this lap time.
Sounds angry, no doubt about it. That's got to be all of 2.5 litres of Subaru's finest flat 4. And in undoubtedly probably one of the heaviest platforms that the Rex came in. When you consider the shape like Andy Forrest's original shape, it was always the lightest and leanest machine. Mind you, design comes a long way around, and Subaru still make weapons in all platforms. And the old Supra, like there is talk they're bringing the new Supra back. But for one thing, the WRX...
That's a good lap time right there.
It is.
1:35.
Looks like he's getting on with it too, Chad. He went right through Armando there as quick as he could, and he's into GT Sport here. And I think we're going to go back-to-back here if we can, Daniel Day. If you're on a good thing, stick to it. If you don't see anyone down the main straight in front of you, maybe you do commit to the next one. And sometimes I think that's the hidden secret at Sydney Motorsport Park. I'll do another one. I can't see anyone. You come flying around Armando, and there's someone coming out, warming up, coming into turn 2. and you've got to abort it almost immediately because you're coming in too hot when someone's still got a speed difference of over 100 kilometres an hour. It can't be good. It is a blind corner, Nelly. It's a very long sweeping corner, but it is a blind corner at 250 kilometres an hour that some of these guys hit. On a V8 supercar around that corner, Chad, what would they hit on that apex there?
Armando?
Yeah,
You're looking at fifth gear, 200 k's an hour.
Okay.
Yeah. So Tim Slade here this weekend, flat in sixth through there. So no downshift.
I wonder what speed that is, though. Like, I want to know what speed. It looks like it's a hell of a lot faster. It's got less baggage to deal with.
If you want to compare supercars to time attack cars, the times that we're looking at this weekend, pardon me, roughly 6.5 to 7 seconds quicker than Scott McLaughlin's pole time set here this weekend.
What do you do, eh?
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
The current time of Nathan Malcolm, a 1:28.5, would have been pretty much on the pace in supercars qualifying here this year, and that's just open class.
With the glorified street cars here.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And remember, that's not on a slick tyre. It's on this grooved Yokohama.
It almost makes you reckon if they never ever swap like a V8 supercar formula away from Group A, we're almost at the same place again. You know, just at V8s, we don't put the supercars on radials like we do here, but they're almost, the performance level is almost identical. Lap times, as you said, open's just another planet. But good to see Neville Scott back out there. Again, I don't know what the problem was in there. The only way I'm going to find that info out is tonight afterwards at the pub, because Neville will be down there to have a few settlers before bedtime, and I'd love to know what happened there. He was wounded. Looks like the wheels have been changed from what he ran, so he has another set of wheels, and you would assume tyres on the front of that. They're definitely a different rim colour, which tells me they're completely different. Let's see what he does. How does he recover, Nev Scott, from the incident that had him pulled off the track a little bit earlier? He goes through minute 41.7, so that's the best Nev's managed to nail today, so he's back on it. So Nev's back. He's back to, sometimes square one comes in session 4. Just remember that sometimes. So, so far, well, I don't know who he's pinched those wheels off, Nev, but they're pretty flash on there. They look pretty good. Here we go, a bit of Josh Coote now. That's a bit of kit. That's a bit of Nissan on Nissan. Nissan on Subi. Nissan on Subi there. I always naturally assume we see him in the 350Z. And you know what, if you never painted these things up, sometimes you can be mistaken, easily mistaken for the shape. But yeah, that, like, I don't know, have we got the world's horniest 86s here as well? Certainly up there in the show and shine area, we're seeing all the street versions. This is what the track versions looks like. Yeah, so we're the Lexus nose treatment on it, which makes it different. You have a look at the front, it's got a Lexus grille in it. I like it. It'll be on eBay in 3 months. You could buy that, I reckon.
This is a great example of how these rules have been opened up in the open class. You can see those new side skirts down the side of this car. So
it's so
everyone's been really trying to find that little bit of aero. We had Andrew Brilliant in here from A&B Aero earlier talking about the advantage that is. And guys like Nathan Malcolm, the heavy hitters, have gone for those new side skirts here this weekend after those rules have been, I guess you could say, relaxed in the open class. Yeah, and definitely helping to find a little bit more grip out there.
Racing bears an industry, and if the industry means I have an 86 platform that these skirts work on, well, every other racer with an 86 platform can adopt that, and we're ahead everywhere, you know. Everyone wins. A WRX platform. Again, because of the nature of the design of these cars, or ideally we are plastic or reinforced now, or carbon fibre if you're allowed, template bumpers and sides, you can easily do a kit on 20 cars just from the one kit that's been developed. Who knows if it's the quickest cat in the hood? It's like, dude, who did your body kit? I did it myself. Well, it's Kaching. There's an industry. They start from the garages of many Australian workshops over the years.
We just had Drew Hall on track. 133.7 is an improvement, and that saw him jump from 10th to 8th on our Garmin timing board, top left of screen. So a nice move up the order. Coote's still sitting in there as well with that 133.8. Nicholas Bates in there as well with the 133.8. But Hall is the only real mover and shaker inside the top 10 in Group 2 of Link ECU Open.
I can hear that V6 in the background there. Did you hear that thing? That's pretty throaty thing in there. Talking about that, you know, horsepower wasn't a problem, he reckons. So I just wondered whether we got a few niggles in there. Have a look at this. We are working there on the hot side of the SR20, so it's interesting to see what they're working for. And you know, so many things can happen. All it's got to be is a little leaky fitting with a little bit of leak. We might have a little bit of coolant overflow. And let's not mention the F word anymore, F-I-R-E. That's already happened too much. And, of course, in a world of composites, things can happen real quick, so you've got to treat them with as much mechanical sympathy as you can. Here's Seb Nadja back in a great time attack car, the Z32 Golf. And again, left hook, so people will be talking. Are we an international golf, or are we a deliberately manipulated golf to create that dynamic in there? Who knows? I haven't looked under the hood of a Z32 to make a decision on whether that's a decision for weight balance or not. But Seb Nadja, you've got to hand it to him. We've got him here on screen. Hasn't been setting the world on fire in regards to the open category, but you know that's the category he fits in. At the end of the day, that car will be a hell of a lot more developed. And I'm sure tomorrow we'll be looking for more PBs. If you can't race the top 10 or the top 5 or the podium, you race yourself, you race the clock. World Time Attack always is about racing the clock. And he'll be another one in that class of 2017. Of course, for his business, Euro Automotive. What do you do if you're not working on Euro cars? If you're racing Euro cars, I bet you're working on Euro cars for a living. And the cycle continues. Another guy doing it all for himself. Again, feeds the passion. And develop a fan base, Chad. There's Volkswagen, mate. We got the quickest Amarok in the world here, mate. No doubt about it.
He's getting faster. He's lapping in the 155s. This time
it's a good package.
He might improve again. So 155.5 is his best. And this is what it's all about, Diggles. Just going out there and doing your best to turn lap times and turn your best lap times. Through he goes, and he turns that 155 into a 154. 54.978. And it sounded good to boot. We've just heard it live coming down the main straight. And, 3 minutes left. So for all of our crew and drivers in this one, if you've got something in there trying to get it back out, or maybe stay out a lap or two knowing that there won't be another chance to go out again, do it, and do it now. Make the decision. Travis Allen's made the decision. Allen's Industrial, the Evo 9. Where has Allen been? Allen, minute 38, 5.27. And not too bad for him either. Now, the Evo 9, that's his take on it. And again, in the open category, there'll be so many fellows in here that's their own deal, it's their own companies, their own businesses. They're either involved directly or indirectly in the racing industry, and a lot of these guys are completely out of the racing industry, but they've got themselves their own business that can afford to, get this amazing world-leading automotive aftermarket industry involved and engaged, and voila, we're steering stuff around here with more guys out there. Allen's Industrial Products. I love those shops. I've been into when's the last time you've been into an industrial product shop? You walk out with stuff you don't need, but you could build anything, and it's over-engineered. Spot the plumber between us.
Well, just spot the tool, nuts and bolts stuff. I don't know, man. There are men of the metal out there. Alan goes a minute 38, 8.93. We've got Emma down there with Morecambe. What's the update down there, girl?
Yeah, just what we wanted to find out. Nathan Morecambe, not the best luck in that session. What was the issue?
We were actually going pretty good. We didn't put green tyres on like everybody thought we were going to, so we used our second-hand tyres. It only did one lap this morning, so we went out, started it up. We're about 2 temps off the first sector, which is pretty good on second-hand tyres. Got around over the back, and the car felt actually stronger with the older tyres on. We tweaked it between the sessions. But when we were entering into turn 6, I was trying to shift down gears and just wouldn't go, so the actual gear linkage broke. So I thought it was actually the gearbox or the motor that disappeared, but as I rolled off to the side, didn't cause no red flag for the session, so everybody else could get going. Last thing I'm going to do is pull over on the track and then cause a red flag for everybody. So I pulled off to the side, not on top of the grass so it wouldn't catch on fire, but and then I was looking around what it was, and I'd just seen the gear linkage was broken, so I was like, oof, boys, it's just that. So we're all good to go. Just get it fixed tonight, and we'll go again tomorrow.
It's been a long day. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Boys.
Look, fantastic news that it's not broken, completely broken, but that's good that the linkage can be fixed and he'll be back. You know what, Motorsports TV, this is the best TV you could ever watch. Why don't you download the app and check out a little bit of World Time Attack? We can't get you any closer. Yes, we can. We can get you closer, and we will, I do believe, by the end of the weekend. We've had a little bit of in-car, and I do believe we're trying to get a little bit more of that live in-car happening this weekend, Chad.
Yeah, pretty exciting stuff, Diggles. Make sure you download the app Motorsports TV, and you can also follow along Facebook and YouTube as well. As Drew Hall lines up another run in the CRD Skyline, has improved, been the only driver in this session to improve inside our top 10. You can see him now sitting P8 in our Garmin timing screen. Remember those hashtags, WTAC and 1 perfect lap. You can follow us on Twitter as well. And the live stream, hope you're enjoying it right now, wherever you're watching from around the world. Let us know on Facebook Live, where are you watching from? We hope that wherever it is, you're enjoying it with a couple of cold bevies and thinking, you know what, I wouldn't mind going to Sydney, Australia one day.
And how about you contact us and tell us that you're not listening? That's even better. That'll be even more impressive. Just to contact us to say that you're not listening, that means that we know you care. And there'll be a lot of people out there wishing, and you know what, I'm going to push it next year. You know what really works really quickly? Really, an SMS line, old school. I'm going to want to put one in next year. I'm going to use a Nokia 3310. I'm going to really just old school it. Some of this JDM, I'll get a phone the same year as that thing out there. What about that? We'll do an SMS line on a DOS computer. Why not?
This is one of the best sounding cars in the pits, Chris. Listen to this thing as it swings past the grandstand.
Yes, RB people. There's a lot of awesome. RB idlers out there that just think that that is just one of the best sounds in the world. And you know what? You know who? There's one bloke out of this whole organisation, Chad, that matters the most, and that's Mr. Ian Baker. Because he's raving on even last night about all the different cars. How did it sound? You know, it's all about, how about that thing? How tough does it sound? And he's right into it. As much as he loves a little bit of heavy metal and rock and roll and all that sort of stuff, that's a different riff that you know, he loves to play.
All right, the Garmin leaderboard looks like this. Nathan Morecambe leading 128.5, had that shifter issue, but should be fixed up, ready to go. Kazmiri, no improvement in that session. The JDM yard. Honda still looking good and very close to the top between those guys. Matt Longhurst, you feel like he's still got some more to go. This is the closest out of our 4 categories at the moment, which is 7/10 covering the top 3. Steve Johnson, son of Dick Johnson, sitting just outside the podium spots. 131.3 is the time to sneak inside the top 5 spots. You want to make that spares box super lap shootout. George, I asked for a few shout-outs from people around the world. We've got people watching from Tokyo, from Sweden, Gold Coast, Southern California. George, the world's watching.
Isn't that pretty awesome? I'm down here in the pits with Nick Bates in the GoPro 86. Now, we know this car. We know V-Sport have been building this car for a long time. But, Nick, it's had a bit of a heart transplant. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, it has. Well, we used to have a FA20, turbo FA20 in it. Had some reliability issues, struggled to get the power to compete with the Skylines and, you know, some of the other cars. So we've gone overseas, got ourselves a bit of Datsun power, VK56, similar to what the Kellys run in supercars. Put that in, and it's going great. Got some more power and easier to drive, which is good.
Well, let's come around and have a look at it. Now, we like to blur the lines between time attack and drifting here at the World Time Attack Challenge, and this engine actually has a lot of drifting history. It was previously campaigned by Chris Forsberg, who's the factory Nissan driver over there, and was featuring with nitrous, was featuring over 1,000 horsepower. Is that right?
Yeah, he was running with nitrous and actually supplied it to us with the nitrous setup. We weren't really ready because of the issues we'd had. We just wanted to put something reliable that we know in there. So we've taken that off. It's got the ability to do it. You know, it's still got plenty of power. It's a small car, light car, rear-wheel drive. It's got plenty of power. So we just need to get the power to the ground and make it quicker.
Well, glad to hear you having a lot of fun. We're going to head to a break. Thanks for watching.
PS4 for the players.
South Wales. Kennards Hire Rally Australia.
Let everyone know that it's
Supercars Kotaya Newcastle 500. Liquimolly Bathurst 12 Hour. And Southern 80. To find out more, go to visitnsw.com.
Don't miss a second of the action. Every corner, every shift, every heartbreak. See your motorsport as it should be, live and free. Download your Motorsport TV experience now.
Horsepower isn't just for NASCAR. It's for your car. It's for off-road and the on-ramp. You need it when you're drifting. You want it when you're passing. Get more of it with the K&N High Flow Air Filter, designed to increase horsepower with up to 50% more airflow. Because whether your green light flashes here or here, everyone loves that fast car smell.
Overall is here. Overall is a dealer of high-quality tuned Japanese cars.
Oh, yes, indeed. We are out to the world from Sydney, Australia. Hello to all those people from California, Chicago, Oregon. We've got people from Finland, Germany, New Zealand, Hong Kong, Florida, Tokyo, UK, Sweden, Malta, and Zimbabwe.
That's going to be the best one so far. Yes. Watching from Zimbabwe. That's a huge welcome. I hope you're enjoying the action. This is Sydney, Australia. The sun's shining, and we've got fast race cars on the track at the Yokohama World Time Attack Challenge. When we say the world's watching, we mean it. We switch our attention now to Motul Pro-Am class. So these are the heavy hitters of the sport in terms of car builds, like this Audi R8 from Finland, but amateur drivers, so owner drivers in this category. So you can't go getting a supercars driver, putting him in here. You've got to drive it yourself.
At the moment, it looks like owner drivers from other countries in Sydney, Australia, and that's what we're seeing, which is what I love about Pro-Am, is we're getting a lot of international focus in here. I'll hi to all the people from Finland. I hope that your idol, your hero, he's your national hero, can he go into the 29s? We'll hopefully see whether that's going to happen today. Sammy Sievenham, he had a taste of it last year, decided, you know what, I've got a pretty decent Audi back at home. I think I might have a crack at this, and has brought it over. And you know what, it was a Scotsman that put the challenge. He never even put the challenge out. He just said, I'd like to be the quickest European racer here at World Time Attack, and he's in the 31.30s as well as Sammy Sievenham. So which European goes into the 20s at World Time Attack first? Maybe we could put that in first.
Oh, hold on through. Turn one, he's going well off.
Push, push, push.
Now, that car has been the fastest on approach down towards that corner all weekend long, Armando corner.
Wow.
Really have here with all its ridiculous amounts of horsepower.
Oh, geez,
and that was a shame.
Yeah, look, you know, we'll get a replay, I'm sure, of that. You want to push through there? And again, he's probably of the same theory that we all are. Here we go, William out there. And, of course, Team Canada. He's on a flyer.
That could have been his last chance, because a 1:30.6 was the time to beat.
The intent is definitely there. How much front grip can you put through with 750 horsepower there as well? This is an important corner for him. Midway through the apex, perfect place to have it out there. He didn't go over the lines at all, so he's got it nailed through here. That's how much do you trust yourself just to stay on this way a little bit longer and roll off to the other ripple strip. How are we going there, Chad?
He's a 10th up on his best so far, so this is an improvement pending here for Will Au Young down the front straight. 1:30.4, he currently sits P2 on our Garmin timing. Let's see if he can sneak into the 1:30.3s. And he lights up the boards with 1:29.6.
Hello.
Big jump on the last sector for Will Au Young.
1-2, Honda 1-2. Wow, a 1-2 in Pro-Am. How about that for a story if that happens?
And the news gets better, because we are still waiting on the #1 man in this class to head out there. Rob Nguyen wants to have the fastest Honda lap ever around here. We'll need to dip into the 27s if he wants to claim that record. as he rolls out onto the track.
Oh, this is crazy times, Chad. You know, the K&N action replay. This will be of Sammy. Look at this for push. It's already... Oh, he's out. He couldn't make it stick. It was just...
It's so dirty out there as well. Once you get on that dust, very good effort not to hurt that front winglet on the right front of that car. Very sturdy built car. It's the heaviest in Pro-Am.
I reckon he almost had half a thought about keeping that going, that lap. I'd really thought in his mind that, again, that is being the heaviest car ever in Pro-Am, I'd say already. Bar maybe GTRs might go close, but that's still a V10 in that thing. And it's making plenty, as we said, over 1,000 horsepower. Punches it through the gears. We got an update from George. I saw you there in pit lane. Couldn't miss you.
Guys. Yes, guys, I can confirm that the Audi is still on the medium tyre. They're still focusing on getting him laps, making him more comfortable around this awesome Sydney Motorsport Park GP track.
Now, George, you've been down there before flying into turn 1 like we just saw from him. It's a pretty fast corner, isn't it, down there?
Yeah, I mean, in something with as much horsepower and as much downforce as these things, you're probably turning in before you're hitting the brakes. So it definitely takes a lot of commitment, and see what happens when you don't quite get it right.
Put him out. So he lasted exactly 100 metres longer than the last time here.
Yeah, but he might want to stay in that there because again, every lap counts. You can't live a development curve with half laps.
True.
You've got to go out there.
Well, this is him just finding the limits of this car now. It's not about not about improving the lap time just yet. They do have one set of tyres left. That'll surely be a soft set of Yokohama. So they're running this medium compound just so he gets the laps. He's never going to improve while he's on the harder compound tyre, particularly after it's done 4 laps. But what he will improve is his driving. Remember, he doesn't get to drive this circuit all that often as we turn our attention to the man to beat. One man has won the last 4 years in Pro-Am, Mick Sigsworth, in the amazing PMQ,
yes.
Top of my head,
yes.
PMQ Lancer. No other driver's ever won Pro-Am before. It looks like it's a battle between Nguyen and Ao Yung, and at the moment, it's advantage to the Queenslander, Robert Nguyen. And here he comes with Mighty Mouse strapped on for the ride. It's the 101 Motorsports entry. Here comes the big flying supercharged powered CRX.
Look at that, pushing the front tyres down onto the suspension to the point that it's rubbing on the body, takes turn 1 with reckless abandon. Of course, Armando, so much front end grip there now. Rob, he's got plenty of a lap around this place, and this would be the lightest car, thus called Mighty Mouse, the lightest car maybe ever in history in the Pro-Am category. And you know what? It's the smallest thing out there, but geez, we've got some respect. And look where it is, number 1. In a Honda 1-2 so far. We're keeping one eye on Sammy Sievin and what he's doing, but right now, how can you take your eyes off the CRX? He's definitely got the intent in there, Rob. And look how much brake he took, barely anything. Lets the car do the rest through that corner. The supercharger means that we're not waiting for lag. The engine basically is on demand anytime he wants it with enough horsepower, and he's got plenty. This looks good through this sector.
So you can see his first sector time on the screen top left, 25.8, and that is an improvement of 1.2 seconds in the first sector alone. Now he needs to go quicker than a 1:03.9 here to the second sector time, and it's a 1:02.3. So he is absolutely flying. 1.6 seconds up in his own best time. You take that off that 1:28. Fair to say this is going to be a pretty quick lap.
This will be it.
A 1:27.4 was the fastest lap last year from Mick Sigsworth. I think he's going to get pretty close to that 1:27.4 right now. Looking for the fastest, quickest Honda lap around Sydney Motorsport Park. And he lights up the board with a 1:26.5.
Wow! Hello! Not a 27, folks. Let's go a 26. And just the sound of that thing out of turn 9 here, he had the power. I mean, the power is incredible. Oh no, we've got a action replay just for the moment. Let's take a breath and have a look at what Sammy's up to on the K&N action replay.
So K&N action replay down at turn 8.
Wasn't Sammy.
We had Will Ao Yung
here we go.
Cruising through there.
All right, so here comes Sammy.
That's right. We'll pick back up with Rob Nguyen because that was an amazing lap time. 1:26.5. He now has 4 seconds on the field, and that was a huge, huge lap time.
That is the lap for me of the day for Pro-Am. I mean, that goes without saying, but you know what? That's what maximum attack looks like. And I'm so glad that we're able to watch all of that lap live. And for those people obviously on the app, if you're on the website and watching it through there, I hope you all enjoyed that lap as much as we did. We saw it live, and that's the magic of World Time Attack, and that's the magic Mighty Mouse.
That lap was 1.5 seconds quicker than Scott McLaughlin's pole lap for supercars here in August, out of a front-wheel drive Honda CRX on essentially a grooved slick tyre. That is an incredible effort from Rob Nguyen. And remember, he isn't a professional race car driver. That's not his day job. For that kind of lap speed out of a part-time racer in a front-wheel drive car, take a bow. That is a huge lap. When we saw them getting into the sub-130s, we thought that was impressive.
That's insane.
A 1:26.5, and he has blitzed the competition. Will Ao Young and the team have travelled over here from Canada, have just witnessed something very special.
And you know what? Being Honda guys, they'll appreciate it as well. And if Mighty Mouse didn't already have a large following in Canada, it's going to have that by virtue of that, of course. If this is home, we can even say this one. I'm going to start adding up these catchphrases, Chad. World Time Attack, home of the world's fastest Honda Time Attack cars. Right there, Honda 1, Honda 2, and look, Sammy's still in there in number 3, so you can't take that away from him, but we thought we had an incident of, or a bit of footage of going off there, but look, he's back and safe and sound in the pits, and again, that medium compound tyre strategy might have worked or not. Maybe it just needs stickies every time it goes out due to the nature of it.
I think the round of applause is for their noisy neighbours, because it's Rob Ewan parked literally to the left of frame for these guys.
Here we go.
And here it is. They're back in the pits.
Wow, put your hands together, folks, even at home if you're watching, because Rob Ewan just showed us what it's about. To be able to go that much faster than some of the professional motorsport categories in this world and be an amateur, do it on his own coin with the best of the Australian aftermarket. That's a world-class run. We challenge any other one in the world to come to Australia and challenge that time now, folks. That is one that will scare a lot of people off or throw the gauntlet out to a few other people that go, you know what? Here's Georgie with the good news.
Yeah, well, I'm here with Rob Nguyen, mate. I've got to say, put it there, that was excellent driving. What a lap. How does it feel to do that kind of time around Eastern Creek?
Oh, very happy. It was on my second lap today too, so I'm over the moon.
Well, we always knew to expect big things from you, mate, but I've got to say you've exceeded all of our expectations. I think you got about a second faster than the guys up in the commentary box were expecting you to. I'm really, really stoked for you. Well done. And it seems like it's a whole team atmosphere here too. Everyone was clapping when you came in.
I think we've reached all our goals already, so tomorrow we're going to have some fun.
Well, there you have it, folks. He's here to have fun, but he's obviously here to go very, very fast.
So did he get the Honda record? That's what I'm super curious about with that 1:26. Very fast lap time from Rob Nguyen, and that is what it's all about. So just to reiterate that point, the quickest time here in Supercars qualifying, 1:28.2. That was a qualifying lap record set by the Penske team, so one of the biggest teams in the world. And then a front-wheel drive Honda CRX. He has just laid down a 1:26. So he's gone comfortably 1.5 seconds quicker.
I've always heard it from people, and I never believe it until you say, those darn kids with those Hondas, and there's another example of just, again, hats off somewhere along the line. I'm thanking Yokohama for that performance, and somewhere along the line I will thank the Honda Motor Company for that, because well done, sirs. That is an amazing platform. We just needed to use Australia's best talent to make it the world's quickest Honda. All right, so issues there. So this is not good when you're rolling it through. Jason Wright, the issues with the Hulk, is it?
Yeah, he went out late in the session. Remember, didn't drive here last year. Last appeared in 2015. And this is
I'm trying to guess what
see from this car pulled up.
Here you go. It's sitting somewhere in the vast expanse, but let's see how we got to the vast expanse. All right, looks like coming into 5, is it?
Turn 6 here.
5-6 now.
In the Autotech Hulk. Whoa, something flying. Oh, it's cut a right front tyre.
Oh, no.
Wow, that's the first real puncture we've seen in anger.
There's something there, though. There's a little bit more than that came out.
Yeah.
There was a peak. Okay, there we go. Second piece. So Exhibit B.
Yeah,
Exhibit B.
The tyre has popped and it's taking the bodywork with it. And that'll be a really tough fix for that car this weekend. Hasn't driven it in 2 years. That's a new billet block. Same turbo and a local team based in Granville, which is just near the Speedway around the corner, and that's a real shame. That's an ex-WRC Subaru WRX. So good pedigree.
It is a very good pedigree, and that is an absolute shame. But then when you play with the aero as much as they're allowed to, sometimes you're going to get that tyre problem. All right, what have we got? The BMW boys down there, or the M8 boys?
The beautiful Audi R8 is just behind me. Sammy is here and Jyrki is going to translate for us. Now, Sammy, a few ups and downs today, but how are you feeling overall?
Niin, miltä se tuntui tänään?
Oikein hyvältä. Tänään oli hyvä päivä. Ja saatiin paljon aikaiseksi tänään testin osalta ja aikaakin saatiin vähän kohilleen, mutta vielä tehtiin muutamia pieniä sääntöjä tässä loppumetreillä ja saatiin pieniä sitten yllätysmomentteja tuolla radalla.
He's really happy about how it went today. We did get our personal best in the morning. It's been a work in progress for the driving line with John Boston over here today, and now in the last stint we did a couple of changes to the setup, and I'm not sure if it turned out too well.
Still got plenty of changes to do ahead of tomorrow, sitting in third at the moment.
No, not that many changes. I think we are going to dial it back from what it used to be and see how the driver copes with tomorrow.
Good luck for tomorrow.
Thank you.
Or, well, we'll check out the K&N action replay of exactly what happened to this car. Had a spin through turn 7.
That's what happened.
Right, okay. And that'll hurt those beautiful medium compound tires. That's a wild moment on the K&N action replay. Through turn 7.
I was going to try and be a little bit indulgent there and say take it all the way back, but I bet that's all we probably caught. That's probably all we got. It happened so quick when you come out of there. We don't know how it ended up that way, but Sammy was completely sideways, kept the thing upright. I mean, it's very hard to probably flip any of these things. They just skate along the ground and bits and pieces fly off, their respected aero kits. But problems everywhere as we look at the live stream, thanks to Sony PlayStation. And, of course, Gran Turismo Sport coming out October 18, a couple of days. So there's still a lineup out there, Chad Nailon, to line up to run the simulator because we've got that contest between 1 and 6 o'clock. Hello, there's a little bit of banter going on in pit lane here. The mouse trap. I don't know who puts the mouse trap out, but
I think the mouse just broke the trap.
Yeah, the mouse actually. You know what? Well, I reckon that the trap should be split in half. That would be the message I'd be wanting to see from that. But the mouse is everywhere. And amazing scenes here. A minute 26 for the Mighty Mouse team in Pro-Am. Breaking back with more here at World Time Attack Challenge in beautiful Sydney, New South Wales.
PS4 for the players.
Looking to drop some extra seconds on your lap time? Stop later and set new PBs with the world's premier brake brands, coupled with industry-leading service and advice at V-Sport, the performance braking specialists. From your daily to track days, club sprint class, pro level and beyond, V-Sport has the products and experience to bring your lap times down. Shop online or in-store today with V-Sport, the performance braking specialists.
It's on in New South Wales. Kennards Hire Rally Australia.
Let everyone know that it's
Supercars Kotaya Newcastle 500. Liqua Molly Bathurst 12 Hour. And Southern 80. To find out more, go to visitnsw.com.
Don't miss a second of the action. Every corner, every shift, every heartbreak. See your motorsport as it should be, live and free. Download your Motorsport TV experience now.
Horsepower isn't just for NASCAR. It's for your car. It's for off-road and the on-ramp. You need it when you're drifting. You want it when you're passing. Get more of it with the K&N high-flow air filter, designed to increase horsepower with up to 50% more airflow. Because whether your green light flashes here or here, everyone loves that fast car smell.
It's that time of the day here in Australia where the sun starts to go down. Our final session, traditionally on our Friday afternoon, the Royal Purple Pro Class. That one last opportunity, Chad Nailon, as the track cooled up off enough and the conditions good. Is this wind, is this breeze going to play havoc with these 1,000-kilogram cars with all this aero? We'll all be in the best seat you could possibly be, either on Motorsports TV watching, either live on the stream, or if better, one step better, is being here right now, wherever you are in this amazing Sydney Motorsport Park Complex. You're in the right spot, because after Pro category, of course, we go to some of the world's best drifters. The car show kicks in as well. We've still got that to come. But right now, what a great way to settle into the sunset. There's one more crack at the clocks for all of these competitors in the Royal Purple Pro-Am category, Pro category rather.
So we've got Brad Shields on track. He currently sits 5th at the moment, locking himself into that last spot of the Spares Box Super Lap Shootout. We've got Under Suzuki exiting pit lane. And we also have Barton Moore, now Tim Slade. So the top 3 on track. Haven't seen Andy Forrest yet. I'm expecting to see all 6 cars on the circuit here. So many variables for tomorrow. Ando as well on track, so that's a good news item as well. They've got that car fixed up as he starts a hot lap this time by. Hopefully we can get a quick lap out of Fire Ando. So 7 cars. Now, big question mark over tomorrow's conditions. You don't know what it's going to produce. This could be the session right now. This is a key session in this weekend. As Brad Shields gets us underway down there at Armando Corner. And that thing is seriously hooked up. That's the fastest we've seen it through there this weekend. That front aero working overtime on the Insight Astra.
Yes, no, that's looking all very clear through Armando, then into GT Sport corners. They look all very clean, so we anticipate one under right in the middle of Ando's progress. Ando and Under nearly coming together there if it wasn't for the... well, Ando had was the one that could see Under. I don't think Under could see Ando, but he's pushing, he's push.
Big wiggle through turn 7. You'll be lucky to gather this back up. Big save. But did it hurt the aero? Very delicate Voltex aero system, which is probably important underneath the car as it is all around the car. And hopefully hasn't damaged it. Also, Brad Shields improving on his best first sector time, 26.2. Barton Moore in the second sector right now, 24.3.
This Mitsubishi engine is making plenty of boost. We heard it accelerating out of turn 9 like a Group B rally car, of course, from the drag racing circles. And now he's into World Time Attack action, and he's got some power here. Let's see what he does as he comes through. Ando goes flying through for a minute 30, 9:03. He has arrived.
This is the man that we need to turn our attention to because his first sector times are looking very quick. Barton Moore, sector 2. Ticks it over, and that is a big improvement again, 58.8. This could be the winning lap. He's got one more corner to go.
Slade's on a flyer. Shields goes 29 in the Astra.
So Shields gets his first 29, and this could be a very quick 1:21. Looking at potentially sneaking him into the 1:21.7s. Let's answer that question. It's a 1:21.78. Big lap from Barton Moore, and the PR Tech team go to the top.
Ando. We've got Slade on a flyer. Slade on a flyer too. Keep an eye out on him.
Now, will this be a yellow flag for Tim Slade coming through that part of the track? He's already through it. 23.8. Now, Tim Slade's gone under his best first sector time as Ando-san gets out of there. And it's wide for Under Suzuki. So Barton Moore's gone to the top. A mistake from Under Suzuki. He was already 3/10 down. It's the MCA Hammerhead. That's probably the car to watch. Now, 58.8 was the second sector time here for Barton Moore. And the numbers through 2 sectors for Tim Slade are 58.8. This is going to be just about bang on the 1:21.7 with a huge cloud, quite literally, over tomorrow. This could be the moment where World Time Attack 2017 is decided. 1:21.78. Can they go back to back? Will it be Tim Slade and Murray Coote on top? The time, it's a 1:21.5.
Sorry.
He lowers it by 2/10 again. In a big last sector, the MCA Hammerhead flexes its muscles and sends the rest scurrying. 1:21.5. And that was all done in the last sector.
Within 30 seconds of each other, we go, wow, Barton, you're incredible. Tim, where'd you come from? Goes 2/10 as well. Chop. And Under Suzuki, the meat and the sandwich there. Andy Forrest now on screen. We've got to see whether Under can improve. Ando's out on the side.
Now, there is time if you're worried about the conditions tomorrow, to come in and have a second run. We did see Barton Moore go for a second run in the third session today. I wouldn't be surprised if that Porsche comes in, changes tyres, goes back out there.
That was crazy by Tim Slade. And again, the driving styles of the two. You know, Slade kind of doesn't show his hand too much. He's just playing quick between the corners. But then you see Barton with just that slightly wider arc everywhere, looking for those hundredths of a second. And just when we thought what Barton did was all up good, Tim's answered the call. Remember, no NOS either, which gives it even more credibility that car is an amazing package. And that is just dead set done it for me. Ando Sun, he might be back on the pushy before too long. He's got his push bike in between, goes around the pits there, but that is not a good thing for him. It did go pretty well. Minute 30, 9:03. Andy Forrest now on a flyer. Flat six Subaru. The world's quickest Subaru time attack car, and he wants to be the quickest European driver at World Time Attack. And you know what, with his minute 29.604, he has indeed done that over Sammy. And, you know, tomorrow's another day for Sammy to have a crack. But Andy's got the bragging rights and a 29.6.
He snuck that one in, didn't he?
He did.
129.
He stuck that right in on us because we were focusing on what we'd seen from Timmy Slade. That's where it came from. Andy Forrest deserves just as much rapture in regards to his achievements. But it slipped under the radar. Let's see if we can get another one. Now, here's the bloke. One of our heroes.
He refuses to give up. Here comes Suzuki-san. Through Armando, and this S15 is glued through that part of the track. Now, he did not come back in to change tyres, I don't believe, so he's pushed on with it.
Ando Sun's just caught up on the corner there, I saw, of Armando. I just saw Ando there as a blur. Under, push. Right out of there, he didn't have much oversteer there at all, not too much wheel spin either. This is a good one so far. That's 2 done, 3 done. 4 looks tidy. Let's see how he pushes through there. Picks up a little bit of the inside. Looking for brake, and how much brake? No brake, little bit of brake. Late brake for that, doesn't clean it up on the outside too much. Stays in tight. Is it fast enough though? Has Under's wings been clipped by not being able to run a little bit further out there? We'll have to see.
Well, he's 4/10 down to the first sector on his own personal best so far. As the heavy hitters are going at it at World Time Attack, all the way to the exit at turn 7. Gets the car stopped. He's moved to paddle shifts this year, so that has been a big improvement. Just gets that car across in time to avoid the track limits. It's a flat 1 minute at the moment. And unfortunately, he's about 7/10 of a second away from his best.
Yeah, a bit of back wheel up the gear there for Under, so he put that in pretty deep. Yeah, you're right, Chad.
Be right on about if you add up those sector times at least, a 123.2, but he's aboard the lap.
Oh, no, he's pulled the whole thing off there too.
Well, that's a strange one. He's decided to call the tyres down and get off the racing line.
Wow.
So he's going to go again.
Interesting with no run-up, so there's another whole lap unless he's going to try and cool it down one more time, but that looked good for 80% of that lap.
Yeah,
80% of that lap.
He would have known he was 7/10 off, so he's not going to make that back in one sector. You better to give the tyres an extra 20 seconds to cool down and go again. So
they're
not too much longer left. He will get another lap in here if he's cagey about how he handles it.
Yeah, that's right. The session not too far to go in this one. 3 minutes left. Andy Forrest might just have one more shot at it.
Will Barton Moore come back out for another crack? They've got the tyres in the bank to do it. As we check out that wild replay of Fire Ando on the K&N Action replay. Huge cross up through turn 7, car 7. And the Viva C entry lighting up some sparks off that AstroTurf. It was a good save. The drag racer turned time attack entrant. Why did he decide to come over to World Time Attack Racing? Well, there was an earthquake that ruined the drag strip in Japan, so he needed to find a new hobby. And here he is, a 6-time Japanese drag racing champion competing at World Time Attack.
Don't you think that it's also interesting that Andy Forrest is from a drag racing background as well, and that's been a 7-second street car before anything. So we've got two Andy still reckons he'll take this back to the quarter mile. He said he wants to try this thing over the quarter.
This has got a 28 in it, this car.
Yeah.
This weekend.
It's also got another 600 horsepower, so I think the 28 can come with just a little bit more practice and 200 more. But no, he's going to bring it in for another check. Here's the world's quickest Astra coming out here now. I've never seen an Astra as violent and as vicious as that. Now here's Under. If Under's going to commence his campaign for one more shot at it, he would be having to get into it right about now. and I would imagine, dare say, that he might be putting it in.
The other thing he might be doing is because he had messed up that lap and he wouldn't want to come straight into the pits on a hot lap, want to give that car an actual cool-down lap.
Get some air through.
So maybe it was better to just cruise all the way back.
Yeah, there might have been some last-minute commands there. I mean, must be. I'd love to be a fly on the wall with the chatter with the crew in regards to that, but especially guys like Under, they want to know what each sector wants. And sometimes I wish we didn't know each sector, just for the fact that just keep going, just to see what it does anyway. If you have that information prior, sometimes I think it just affects your decision. But as you said, strategy comes in. So no, keep that thing cool. Quit it now. Let's not burn it up. And again, it's a pretty big discipline, world time attack, and especially when it's like, well, you know you've only got 3 in there. So the strategy becomes, where do you do the hot 3 in each session? And then you have unfortunate incidents, like someone will block you. So, well, what do I do now? So you're strategizing on the run within a 10-minute period of how I'm going to get this thing out of there with some sort of decent lap. A little bit of pressure. There's a lot of intensity out there. We talk about intensity. Here's 6'8" of intensity. George Badecki, what's doing, mate?
Well, that's exactly right. I'm standing here with the Royal Purple Cloakcraft team owner, the eponymous Murray Coote. Obviously, you told me before, and I can't believe it, you sent him out with a brand new rear wing just then.
Yeah, quite amazing to think that you could go through turn 1 like that with a different, untested thing for this event, you know, and to pull out a good time. That's he's done a really, really good job. It's a bit bloody noisy, but yeah, it's amazing to think that. I thought we'd have a bit of a test first, but he must have been confident with the car, and he gave it a serve. And boy, what a great thing!
What a lap time! As you can see, Tim's gone out to have another crack, so he's not done yet. You know, I was really proud to see what you're achieving here, mate. You've built a heck of a car, and you've got a heck of a driver. Very, very well done.
You know, it's all saying so far, it's all panning out very well.
Oh yes.
The tight part here will be, have they left this a touch too late? Now, it's a minute 30 lap time around here, but usually it's a lot slower on your out lap as you try and get things set up. We're in between 1 and 2 minutes of this session being checkered flag. Now, you're not allowed to start a lap after the checkered flag flies, so he'll be very tight, actually getting around in time to start this lap. And as a matter of fact, we're hearing the checkered flag is out now, so...
Can't he just drop it for a sec and then pick it back up?
Which is strange. Rules. Were they trying to road a set of tyres, or did they just miss the bus?
Yeah, I think
it's a very unusual call from the Hammerhead team. Surely this wasn't a new set of tyres that they were going to send out, unless they were trying to road them.
They could be roading for tomorrow, but again, he's not making any effort to road them other than just roll himself around there. Normally roading's about at least... No new tyres, so the existing ones.
Amazing.
Right.
Still using a sequential hand shifter, gear shift lever, as opposed to the others who are out there using now paddle shifts, which is what we see the guys in car
what do you prefer?
2 and 3.
What would you prefer, Chad? Paddle or the shifter?
I always thought a paddle shift would be quicker. Hey, what's that dangling beneath the rear diffuser on this car? There's something, looks like tape or something down on the left rear of that car at the moment.
Yeah, there is something. Okay, they're going to give him the lap. They're going to make it count. They're going to make it count. He's going to make it count.
So this will be a bonus lap then.
Was there some communication happening between not only MCA but race control to say, is this going to stick? And they're going to do it anyway. You know what? They could probably do it anyway and get it on their own data, but they're going to get it on a transponder from this one. He's pushed that through nicely. And again, talking about can you push that far through through a Mondo turn? They're doing it. He's proving it.
Well, it'd be very difficult on a set of tyres that's already done a lap to improve. He's 24.0 to the first sector, so automatically he's not quite as quick as he was earlier. But that's not too bad. We have seen him down in the high 23s today, 23.9.
Let's just throw another bit of salt in the wounds. But, you know what, something you did say was dangling off the back. I'm still keeping my eyes peeled for it. Might be a little support strap or a strut or something like that.
So when he was here in August doing his day job, when he was competing for Brad Jones Racing in the supercars, his lap time in qualifying, get this, was a 1 minute 28.9. And today he's gone 1 minute 21.5. 7.5 seconds quicker
how can you comprehend
than a supercar. He's 7 tenths down to the second sector. So on target for a low 22.
That might be a 2016 era time,
We'll
but
go for
not bad on an old set of tyres.
We'll go for a 122.3 on this lap, judging by those sectors, and he crosses for a 122.4.
Yeah,
so
there we go. But,
not too bad. Lost a little bit more in that last sector. Shane van Gisbergen, former driver of that car, finished on the podium here twice. Watching on.
We know
a little bit more data for tomorrow, Diggs.
We know who the potential reserve driver may be. Can you see? We're looking for a reserve driver in case someone needs to drive the Hammett. Anyone know?
Here's your Garmin leaderboard. Tim Slade, 1 minute 21.5, lowers the mark. Barton Moore jumps up with a 121.7, and for a moment there, it looked like maybe they'd be the team to watch, but the MCA Hammerhead took it right off them. 122.5 under Suzuki, improving massively on his times from last year, but unfortunately, it's not enough to see him jump from P3. He's finished there the last 2 years, and again, he makes another huge leap. Last year, he went 123.1. This year, he's found 0.6 of a second, but it's just not enough with those guys around him finding even more time again. Tim Slade 0.7 of a second quicker than his time from last year. You look at Barton Moore's time, he did a 23.0 last year. He's 1.3 seconds up with that new billet 4-litre motor and that new front-end assembly. That is an incredible effort from the PR968 team. Congratulations to them on finding that speed. Firando did get a lap in, but still outside the top 5 as those guys really fight over that last spot. And Shields actually managed to jump Andy Forrest.
Yeah.
So if that time does get bettered, it means that he will still be safe. He's no longer on that bump spot, as we call it, for the Spares Box Super Lap Shootout. Now, while I mentioned that tomorrow's weather is definitely cloudy and hopefully not rainy, there could be, if